culture united, our culture united, our culture united, our culture united, connecting all over the world, connecting all over the world, connecting all over the world, connecting all over the world.
Word up, culture united. Every Wednesday, hashtag see you Wednesday. I stuttered a bit, but I got back on track. Back again with another incredible panel with an incredible conversation. I have a lot of fun doing these, and I really have a lot of fun seeing people's reaction to the discussions. And you know, to have a place where you can find real insight, real perspective, real introspection in a lot of cases, I think can be rare on the internet, but also in hip hop. And so I'm always honored for everyone who comes and sits on this panel to talk about the topics of the day. Today is no different. Joining us today, got his camera straight, so now everything's straight. One of my favorite people in this space, a man who moves with true honor, integrity, and incredible bars, known for his undefeated reactions, the one and only Scru Face. John, 9-second applause.
What up? Shout out to everybody. Yeah, man. Shout out to you especially for putting this all together. Love being on these shows, and when I'm not on it, I'll be watching it anyway. So shout out to the whole everybody on here panel. So yeah.
Word up, man. Appreciate you coming back. Back again, once again, superstar in the making. You can catch her on the Look at the Material pod. There's a crazy episode up right now, a cross-faded recap of the 2024 election 1 year later. And it is cross-faded. Always dope with the insight, always dropping bars. The one and only BK, 9-second applause.
What's up, y'all? Thank you for having me back, Justin. Good to see you, Glasses, Elle. Nice to virtually meet you, Scru. I think it's going to be a very exciting and riveting conversation today, so I'm excited to get it going.
Word up. Thank you for being here, and I'm glad your internet's working, because I know you snowed in, or iced in, I guess.
Yeah.
Down there in Dallas. Also, back again, I've been getting so many comments that saying that she's been the MVP the last 2 weeks. I didn't know we were keeping score, but I like the fact that people are keeping score. One of my favorite people, just in general, a person I think brings true insight to every organization she's a part of, every conversation she's within. Also, someone I go to for advice on all kinds of things, but particularly when it comes to strategy and direction, because she's an expert at that. The one and only Elle Janelle, 9-second applause.
Thank you so much, Justin. I really appreciate that. I'm very happy to be back here. You do a great job organizing and producing this panel, and I can't wait to get into the dirt.
Word up. It's all happening. And back again, everybody's big homie, the final boss of the OVO community. I love that one so much. But someone I think who has earned his reputation as a man of integrity and a man of honesty, a man of incredible raps, and someone that you don't half-step with and who doesn't half-step on his conversations. The one and only Glasses, Malone, 9-second applause.
Man. Glad to be back, Culture United, man. Uniting the culture.
It's all happening. Now we have, if you notice that we have Elle, BK, they have their Cash Apps in there, I guess their lower third there, I guess is what it's called. If they say something dope, anybody says something dope, feel free to hit them up on their channels with Super Chats or with Cash Apps. It's just a great way to let people know how much we appreciate what they have to bring to the discussions today. We have 3 main topics today, and I will say this up front. I do have a fairly hard out around 7, so we're going to try to get to Super Chats in the middle of the conversation today. Normally we wait for most of those until after the main discussion. But it is Grammy week here in LA. So there's a lot of things that are going on outside. And so that is just the rules of engagement. Now, on to our main topic. It's been a topic now for, I guess, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks or so since we knew that at least one project was coming. Now we have 2 projects that have been announced. One of them just came this week from J. Cole. Now, J. Cole, part of the big 3, part of this ongoing discussion that's been going on the past 18 months, almost 2 years now. But we finally get a new collection of music from him with the release of the Birthday Blizzard 26 EP tape, I guess they're calling it. what are everyone's reactions to the new 4-pack that J. Cole just dropped on us? We'll start with you, BK.
Okay, I guess just to get the positives out of the way, obviously it's S tier rapping as always, you know. But I think for me, as someone who's generally like indifferent about J. Cole, when it's S tier, you know, you do have to start splitting hairs and zooming in a little bit. And I felt like it was largely talking about being the best rapper and then low-key sneak dissing other rappers. Like that's not a deviation from like Cole's general content in my view. Like I'm gonna bar up crazy rhyme schemes, great wordplay, illustrative bars, like it's all there. Technically sound, all the words we use. But I was very perturbed. I know like Professor Sky said something like Cole is like lukewarm water or whatever, like he's between fire and ice, the eyes of Drake and the fire of Kendrick. And he's like lukewarm water. Like I hate lukewarm water. Like I either want it to be cold or I want it to be hot. Like, have you ever had a lukewarm shower? It's horrible because it's like it's teasing you a little bit with the warm, and then you're like, but it's cold. But it's I hate that, and I felt like there was a lot of that on this album. I feel like, and you spoke about this a little bit like before the show, like when you zoom in a little bit on some of the bars, it almost doesn't hit as hard if the bar doesn't make sense or if it's contradictory or if you're like, that didn't really connect all the way. And that's how I felt. You know, he's talking about, oh, these guys farm drama and gossip, which is true, right? Like you've got the broader true thing, and then he sneaks his little shit in there, and you're like, okay, wait, but that doesn't. But you're doing that too. You're saying stuff that like, is it a Drake diss? Is it not? And even if it's not, you're leaving crumbs enough for us to assume or to take it there. Or I mean, when you mention Lucian, pretty much people think Drake. When you mention botting, when you mention like I write my bars and you don't, people are gonna think of Drake. And so I felt like overall, him saying, you know, there's no stain on my name, and I purposefully fell off so I could climb back past you niggas. Like that pissed me off. So yes, like it's good. It sounds like he sounded good on the beats, like whatever. But I just had some issues when I zoomed into a lot of these bars. So
okay, we starting off hypercritical. I think that what you're saying speaks for a lot of people though, to be honest. And I did my reaction on my channel. I've very clearly expressed my reservation with Cole. With this one, I decided to think about this within the J. Cole universe, for example, right? Because in a way, if you look at one of the things you brought up in previous weeks, BK, was that the lack of monoculture, right? And so a lot of things don't cross over into the monoculture the same way. And I think if I'm a J. Cole fan and I'm listening to this, I'm hyped. You know what I mean? My guy is back. He's rapping good. He's using 209 something brand new words he's never used in his music before. It might feel good that the guy that I think, if I'm in the J. Cole universe, is the number one guy, is flexing to be the number one guy. Am I off by that? Screw, what do you think?
I don't think you're off by the way that you look at it. I don't think anybody's off by the way they look at it. But the way that I looked at it is, I've been a J. Cole fan since, you know, I remember when the original Losing My Balance music video got uploaded to YouTube. Like, I've been a J. Cole fan for that long. And I've heard J. Cole, I guess, speaking to what she was speaking to about the lyrics and stuff, and I've heard J. Cole rap for so long that on the positive side, he's getting better and better lyrically. He's technically still as proficient as ever. If you're just thinking about the way that the rhymes bounce off each other, the syllable counts, the metaphors, the letaphors, all that stuff is there. But when I listen to what he's actually saying, to me, some of it does hit or land not as hard as it did because of specifically what he did. What I don't understand really with the what his messaging is what does he want me to think? I genuinely don't know anymore, because on one song he was like, I fell, the apology made me fall off or fall from the top 3. And then on literally the next song, he goes, nothing can make me fall off the top 3. And so it's like a lot of that messaging, and I'm just keeping it consistent the same way with any other rapper where it's like, there's too much contradicting statements and I don't know what you want me to think. And I also sometimes take a little bit of issue when I feel like he does a lot of blaming of other people. He does a lot of blaming of the fans. And the apology was, you guys wanted to see blood. It was your fault. You guys were da-da-da. And then on this album, it's people diss people, or people send shots or use their rollouts to send shots or look like they're sending shots to sell their album. But then throughout this album, he's saying like dissing people who use bundles. He's dissing people who have bad deals with Lucy. And so he's also doing that. And I guess I just hear the hypocrisies and I can't just shut my brain off to it. And that doesn't make me like hate J. Cole. I feel like people think that means I hate him as a person or I don't want to listen to his music. It's just that specific thing. And it just seems that theme he wants to keep revisiting. It's just as simple as that. The last song, I think it was 99 Build Freestyle. There was a large chunk of it where he was just like rapping. And he wasn't even saying any of that, I'm the best, I'll kill everybody. I know every rapper says that, but it lands differently with that situation. So there's a lot, and I was enjoying it. And then it came to like one lyric where he just started talking about it again. And I was just like, yeah, I think this whole mixtape was kind of addressing the apology and where he is now, where he sits now amongst that. So not to be long-winded, but yeah, that's how I felt about it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to ignore the massive elephant that Shakespearean shakedown, the big 3 battle put on the culture. You know what I mean? And so he does seem like he has shifting perspectives on that. I can't disagree with that. Elle, what do you think?
I can't believe I have to be the person to take up for J. Cole. Like, I didn't sign up for this. I don't know how I got to be the J. Cole fan. J. Cole is cool to me. He's not my favorite artist or anything, but I do kind of think the public is being a little bit hypercritical of J. Cole. I think humans are naturally hypocritical. I think that rappers talk shit all of the time and they point out what other people do that they don't like or they don't fuck with. And I think that J. Cole is doing a really good job staying aligned with the story that he says he's telling with the fall off. He talks about how the biggest fear is falling off. Once you make it to the top, falling off, what people will say about you. And right now, especially with this mixtape, he is almost like creating the exact environment that he says that people fear, because everybody is like, this nigga ain't shit. He's a fucking, like, he's a hoe. He's all of this stuff. And I think separately, yes, what he did is kind of scary. But as far as the narrative of his album, it's kind of like creatively aligned with the point that he was trying to make. So I still find it interesting. I think using the mixtape with only the 4 songs as like to play into the marketing, I think that was a great idea. A lot of people wish they could have a DJ Clue mixtape. It's almost like an old school thing. So I think that's a good idea. And he definitely have the people talking. So I can't wait to hear the album.
Word up. Word up. G, where you at? We're gonna start with a 1 second applause.
Yeah, Glasses, you have to go immediately after that I know disgusts you. Me and Glasses argue about this all the time. He hates my outlook on this.
I just think it's fraudulent. I just think it's like opposite of just being, sometimes it's okay for everybody to be on one accord. This is one of those times. I won't even listen to it. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Like, see, the problem with being a real street dude is when you try to articulate yourself correctly without just trying to be overtly offensive, because then you got to pretty much do everything behind the shit you're going to say. So it's finding the right words. What Cole is doing just comes across fraudulent. I don't fucking care. Like, what good is words without the cultural behind it? What good is it without the authenticity behind it? I was just talking to Elle about this last night, her and Trap, and I was telling them, I'm like, how could y'all even, like, how can y'all validate this? Like, it's ridiculous. It's like you just was kind of on this high horse about how you had matured as a man, but then you go back to dissing a bunch of rappers that's like your coworkers, and then you don't put a name on none of the rappers. Like I just can't respect it. And then again, like it went from me being able to respect, like BK said initially, it went from me being able to respect his craft, his ability, you know, as a writer, as a wordsmith, into like it's just a bunch of nothing. You saying nothing, it means nothing. And it, I mean, if his fans feel like that's all they need, I mean, some people like iceberg lettuce. I'm a romaine lettuce type of guy. It's just iceberg lettuce. It's just iceberg lettuce. It's I mean, it's cold and crisp. It's fresh out the fridge, but it's just no sustenance. It's just nothing, no nothing. It's just a bunch of nothing. So shout out to all his audience, but you know, again, like my favorite artists like Scarface or Jay-Z or anybody, I demand more. I just demand more from people that I really enjoy.
He said Young Simba, so he put Simba name on it.
I bet you he did.
It was an entendre, but he said it. You know, I look at this whole thing as, and when I say this whole thing, I mean, you know, hip hop, this culture, as life, like most of us do, as a lot of people do, right? And I just can't imagine what it feels like to be J. Cole. You know what I mean? So that forces me to take a step back with some of my criticism sometimes, right? I understand that everything that he did was self-inflicted, right? All he had to do was not sub for years, not drop 7-minute drill. Whatever call he got or whatever we say might have happened in the background, I don't know if that necessarily meant you had to apologize. You know, maybe he could have just said, hey, I'm just going to fall back on this one. You know what I'm saying? I understand, you know, this doesn't look like something that I really want to do. I don't know if that meant he had to apologize, right? But at the same time, particularly with him and particularly with Drake, like the things they've experienced are so out there, not even just within rap, not even just within hip hop, but just in life. Like, can you imagine what it feels like when there's probably more lights and cameras happening in your field of interest, in your business than ever, and you have to stand there in front of your audience and apologize, and then try to put out music, continue your career, and take the next step with all that in the background, and probably 99% of that unresolved externally and also internally. Like, I have no idea how to commiserate with that feeling. And when I put myself in that mindset, it gives me a little bit more grace to watch not even just J. Cole, but Drake kind of try to figure that out. I mean, is that something that people should consider, or should we just dismiss all of that because they did it to themselves?
Fuck no.
I mean, I think
fuck no. Fuck no. Excuse me, BK. Fuck no. Go ahead, BK. Fuck no.
I almost feel like I wish Cole would put us in that mindset. I wish Cole would paint that picture. Like, do that on a tape. I feel like, okay, with this track 2, I was thinking, oh, we're about to get like a really introspective, and the only reason I'm invoking Mr. Morale, or we could say 444, whatever, like maturity bars, like reflection on your life as a grown man and all this stuff, like speak, even if it's like, man, I was scared shitless. Like, I don't know, but it just feels like a lot of, it's a, you know, a lot of people gave Dot the credit for being this like master manipulator, like that he was like in the lair, like just cooking up whatever. I feel like J. Cole kind of is a manipulator too. Like, obviously you're a writer, you're crafting your own narrative, but you know, kind of like Scru brought up, like trying to make it seem like, oh, the fans just wanted blood sport, but then you go and say the beef ain't real, so ain't no reason to squash it. It's like, it's put us in the uncomfortable perspective of you know, being faced with the moment of your life, the moment of your career, and it's not just the apology. You know, he's like, I dropped it or I apologize. It's like, you jumped out the window. You said TPAB was boring. Like, you seriously said that, and like disrespected the discography of, like, I mean, that's like one of the greatest bodies of work. Like, you can't even dream of making a TPAB disrespectfully. Like, you can't. And so I just feel like it's the jumping out, it's the I'm gonna do all this and I'm gonna do all that, and then it gets to the moment, and then we're supposed to look at ourselves crazy for expecting him to rise to the occasion as he said he would, as he even said on here on some long ding dong shit. It's like, that's not very long ding dong of you, my nigga. It's just not. So it's just, I don't know. It's the back and forth. It's like, we get all of them are braggadocious. You're supposed to say you're the best. But the degree in which Cole says he's the best and that he could see anybody, but then you dedicate a whole song to No Name. You name check Laurie Harvey, call her rant through on this song. You punch it down on Lil Pump. You punch it down, like, my nigga, like, it's only so much leeway. So then, of course, like, if you want to have that perspective of I've done all this, I've built myself up, and I couldn't meet the moment. You can't even say you lost to Kendrick Lamar. This tape is Drake and Kendrick versus each other. Like, you can't even say you lost because you didn't even try. You put your thing in and then you came back and then you're trying to say, oh, well, y'all wanted Bloodsport, but it's not real. Well, if it's not real, why? If it was just push-ups and Euphoria and even 616 in LA and like that, it was just bars, my nigga. It was just bars that you say you could kill in your sleep. So I put us in the perspective of a nigga that was uncomfortable meeting the moment after he built up his fan base and the whole culture to say he could meet that moment. But when you're calling Jay-Z a so-called king, when at least yes, a new verb was created, ethered, because that's what happened with him, right? But at least he met the moment. Niggas even give Drake credit for showing up to the battle. It's like, well, at least he got beat up. At least he showed up. So, I mean, either really go deep and like strip yourself and look yourself in the mirror and give us this like really deep, thoughtful, introspective thing and really put us in the mind frame of that, or just shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. I mean, he's doing what he's doing with the fall off narrative, and I think he is, as Elle pointed out, crafting it beautifully. Like, hey, I fell off on purpose and now I'm still faster than you niggas. Okay, whatever. He's world building, but there's a lot of holes in his plot, and that's the issue for me.
Fire. But I don't think it's that I fell off on purpose. I don't think he fell off on purpose. I think he had a fear of falling off and it came true. And that was a fear that he was always projecting for. And I think a lot of people have that fear. I think J. Cole is bringing up a lot of things that people don't like to talk about because it makes you weak. I think it's evidenced by the masses saying he's weak. People don't admit, hey, I'm fearful of the fall off when I'm at the top. People don't admit, hey, I felt pressure from the crowd to get into this fight that I really didn't want to be in because I don't really have that much animosity, but I felt like the next level of the rap game was for me to battle somebody and say all of this stuff. I think he is being almost humiliatingly honest about how he feels. And like I said, I think humans are hypocritical. It could be one day where you feel like, I'm on some Zen shit. I don't really want to do that. And it could be another day where it's like, but honestly though, all of these niggas got me fucked up for real because I could really chop a nigga head off. So I feel like he is communicating the duality of human beings. Do I think he did some whole shit? Yes. But I think a lot of rappers do whole shit that people forgive. And I think the only reason why people are being super duper hypercritical of J. Cole is because of his position, because he was even in the top 3. And I do think it's some truth to this idea of blood sport. People did want to see blood. People did enjoy the idea of, I hope these niggas go kill each other so that we can enjoy the shit. Like, I do think that's true. But I do understand what other people are saying about like, bro, you throwing a rock and hiding your hands. I do think that is a very valid criticism, especially because all of the disses are very open-ended. And we are seeing how people are putting certain ones together and you don't even really know if those two went together. So I do think there's some value in that. But I think people are being a little bit hypercritical, just a little bit.
Elle, do you think that he is sharing with us the things that you're describing, or do you think that you're describing the things that you think he is going through?
Latter.
And perhaps that's part of the problem.
I think he's doing a good job at saying, I do not think that he is introspective enough to say, these are interesting elements and I'm going to unfold them in a way that you guys can see through the art. I think they're accidentally slipping out and I'm pointing them out. I don't think he, like what you said earlier, like he could have said that in the song. I completely agree with that. But that's why he's not on a Kendrick tier. He's not on a Kendrick tier. Like, it's almost like he's attempting to be introspective on that way and he's failing because he's not that elevated. He's not that solidified in who he is. It's an attempt and a failure. I just still think that's interesting.
That's fair. I will say, let me just a little caveat. He did say he climbed to the top and jumped off. And so I just feel like when you say you jumped and not he didn't say he slipped and fell. He said he jumped.
Apology was a jump off. You don't think so? getting on that
He
stage
relinquished
and
the battle.
apologize-
I just mean it wasn't like he was afraid. Like it wasn't like everybody was saying. I think in that moment, everybody was like, "No, Cole's on an insane run. Oh my god, first person shooter. Oh my god, joint tour. Oh my god, the beat's about to happen. Oh my god." Like I think everyone really was expecting a really good. Like we're actually boosting him up. It wasn't like, "Oh, this nigga whack. He ain't gonna do nothing to Kendrick." Like niggas was really piped up, and so. I mean, he says now he feels like he's the best when they doubt him, but it's like the only reason we doubt it is because you did something that was confusing. So,
But BK, do you agree that the apology was a death sentence as far as top 3?
I think honestly, it was the renege of 7-minute drill. I feel like it's the lukewarm thing, right? Like if he didn't respond, and then later gave us like an introspective, like this is why I didn't respond. I feel like even maybe people would have been a clean sever. But I think to jump out and then everyone was like boo, and they'd be like, oh wait, psych, and then take it down. That I think was more because people say it wasn't an apology. He just was saying his spirit was, but I don't know. I think it's the, hey, TPAB's boring. Psych.
Which is crazy, but let's be honest. There's a lot of people who were saying that. I think this is another reason why I don't.
Yeah.
I really
it's
don't.
Like internet narratives, though.
Yeah,
it's like he knows TPAB ain't boring.
That's the reason why I really kind of don't want to hear this. Go with the crowd. What everybody is saying. Thing. I remember pre-battle as a huge Kendrick fan, always saying Kendrick album run might be one of the best of all time. Kendrick is doing amazing things with his project. And you know what people used to tell me? Don't nobody want to hear that slave music. Don't no bitches say turn that on. Ain't nobody playing that in the whip. That's what people used to say until this battle.
Yeah.
And they saw him cut a person's head off. And then all of a sudden it seemed very cool to be on Kendrick's side. So I think I'm just always the type of person where just because everybody is saying it don't mean I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna think about what I think about the situation, and that's that, because I remember when the crowd wasn't on Kendrick's side too.
Screw, I saw your hand up. What are you gonna say?
The only thing that I agree with a lot of what you guys are both saying. The only thing that I don't like is the whole people wanted blood narrative, because as somebody who's listened to J. Cole's whole career, the reason why people wanted blood is because you said you were a blood fighter your whole career. So when you set the table for a certain narrative, nobody forced you to set that narrative. He's been saying this type of stuff since the Dead President's freestyle. Like this is the type of stuff as a J. Cole fan. If you go back to when J. Cole initially dropped 7-minute drill, go back to see that's what some of the J. Cole fans were saying. People wanted this. People were excited. It was the Drake and the Kendrick fans that made him not like the narrative of what was said about the song. Then he deleted it. Let's not act like, another thing that I don't like is the rewriting of history where he deleted it after he got his first week numbers. He waited till a week, then took it off. He didn't just have a change of heart, then went and removed the song. He went and waited till he got the first week numbers of it, then he removed it. So it's still like, I never looked at that as authentic either, because you were saying certain things. It seems more like you didn't like what people were saying, then you reneged, then you said it was our fault for wanting to see it, when you said your whole career. If you go back and listen to, I can't remember what song it's called, but there's like a couple of songs where J. Cole is quite literally saying, I dare any rapper in the game to battle me. I'll kill every rapper. So it's like, we were looking forward to that as J. Cole fans. So it's more like you just let people down, and certain people won't do, I can't do the mental gymnastics. And when other people don't like, when people go like, well, what about this rapper who did this? Well, what about this rapper? Yeah, I mean, all of that stuff could be bad, but like, all it is just calling out what J. Cole is doing. And I also, to speak on what you said, Justin, when you said, put yourself in his shoes, do you expect this? I really think like, what is happening to him? People are just being critical. Now, of course, there's going to be some people who are going to jump out the window. He's not going to sell any less albums. He's not going to get any less streams. He's not going to get any less. People are just being critical of something that he did. I don't understand why It's okay to be critical when certain rappers do certain things. If this was Tekashi 6ix9ine, everybody would be okay to talk about the hypocrisy in it. If we don't like certain people, then we go, okay, the hypocrisy is this. We don't give Drake, I don't like Drake at all, but we don't even give Drake this grace when he does a hypocrisy, when he sues for being in a battle that he was a part of. Everybody calls that out. And every time that he says something gangster in one of his lyrics, everybody calls that out. But saying that J. Cole did something that he did, it makes him a hypocrite. And just that is, I just don't, it's not, I don't see what is the problem. Like when you look at someone like Drake is going through some real problems. Like J. Cole's not really, it's just more people being like, yeah, of course, there's always going to be the trolls, but for the most part, I think of the regular level-headed people, it's just people going, yeah, I don't like what you said here. This is not real. You're not standing to what you said. We call it out 99.9% of the time on any other situation. Why is it different now to call it out? And it's not, if J. Cole didn't say anything in his song about being the best or about killing people or about catching bodies for fun or about this type of stuff, no rapper can step to me, and then you said something about J. Cole, I would get it. But we're just speaking to the content that he's giving us. My thing is, so what is the alternative? Do people just want us to listen to what J. Cole is saying and just pretend like he's not saying it? Just we start passively listening to J. Cole. We start treating it like it's Travis Scott music. Like now his words don't mean anything.
I said just judge the bars. It's the bars. It don't matter what he said because that's rapper talk. That's what Elle told me yesterday and Trap told me yesterday. Just judge him because he's so good at it that I'm like, y'all don't care that it's a complete lie or the things he's saying. No, look, it sounds witty. And I'm like, yeah.
Do you think J. Cole is hip hop?
Yes. But I think these are the moments where you can see the diet culture and what he does.
Oof, diet culture.
Diet culture there. I do think
I think you can see it in these moments where it's like, man, fuck what you talking about, cuz don't nobody believe you. And that's all. And like I'm saying, it's okay for us to unite and say, hey, bro, especially on an artist that presents himself in this authentic norm, like Scru was saying, bro, it's the same shit. Like, it's nothing wrong. It's like nobody's going, like same with Drake, nobody's going to buy less of the albums. It's okay to have critique. Like this space that we feel like we need to exist and we can't say, bro, what are you doing? Like, why would you just go back to this? Like, no, you don't want to kill anybody else. No, you don't. No, you fucking don't. No, you fucking do not want to kill nobody else. No, you do not want to. Stop doing that. That's why you keep making these open-ended ideas. It's weird how it galvanized. We have been in a bitch nigga era for 15 to 16 years.
Yep.
Where it has been, I blame the blog era. This is why. Because the first time you didn't have to meet people to get their music, you could be a journalist from across the internet, or you had to find people you like or people you wasn't scared of. It created a space where people could be a sucker, where they could say things and not be held accountable. And then that became the norm until 2024. That was the norm. That's why the type of motherfuckers that was on top of rap music was on top of rap music, because everybody was scared. Everybody felt like they needed to act a certain way. And now we could the very end of it. And right now it's time to put the nails in the coffin, and everybody's still trying to let it exist in this moment. What we talking about, bro? Stop doing that. That's all you got to do. Stop doing that. If you want to battle, it's easy to get in a battle. It's so easy. It's enough people that have kicked your fucking back in. It's a fucking enough people. You can say who you want. You can drop a diss. You can get to it. Stop with the shenanigans. If you're going to give introspect, that's the problem. It's been 16 years of fake introspect. 16 years where it looked like it's introspective. Oh, this person created, emotion over like Tupac or DMX didn't exist, who gave you real emotion. But you got a nigga controlling and contriving the narrative of he's interested. No, he's fucking not. And I hate how shallow the space is now. And everybody making me think I'm crazy. For the last fucking 12 years, everybody been making me think I'm crazy. Dot made me think I was crazy. This shit is shallow as a wading pool. It went from Tupac talking about he shed so many tears and I never seen a man cry till I seen a man die, to a nigga acting like we're doubting him when there's no doubt. Nigga, you just had the opportunity and you said no. And then you talked about it after it was over in another song about what you would have did in Port Antonio. This is what I would have did. Cuz you could have did it. And then you act like you were so mature and pensive. Then you come back to just talking shit. Why? This is that fake ass shit that happened when the fucking net merged with the fucking internet with hip hop, bro. Because now you got a bunch of people that say a bunch of shit that they don't mean. And then if somebody mean it, it's one motherfucker mean it. And that's the problem. Like I was talking to Elle about this yesterday. There's no friendly spar, Justin. It's a friendly, ain't no friendly fucking spars. This is it. We're competing to be better than each other. You don't listen. All this friend talk is bullshit. You my friend. But soon as I say a half a bar respond to your bar, you manifest 2 whole diss records. You even go underhanded, put my friends on a record dissing me. Like this is how far you went with this much. I give you this much. After I respond to you doing something with a nigga you know I don't like. You know I don't like this nigga. And then you put this big 3, but you Muhammad Ali. Man, fuck the big 3. It's just me. I am the one. And that makes you manifest a complete 2 diss records. Insulting me, degrading my art. We ain't friends. Stop acting like we friends. If Dot still think it's friends, I'm pissed off at him. Grow up, and I would tell him grow up. Don't you talk to this nigga no more like y'all friends. Talk to this nigga like he a nigga that work with you. Y'all is not friends. Because nigga, I don't give a I would never do that to a friend. All this fake man shit for the last 16 years of hip hop, that shit got to stop. We putting you taking your fades. Akademiks taking this, take your fucking fades or shut the fuck up. It's not that deep. It's not that deep.
I love this. And I would like for Rhett to rap. Oh, go ahead. Give his applause.
No, go ahead. My bad.
No, he got to get his applause.
1 second applause. Carry on.
I love this, and I would love for hip hop to go back to that, rap to go back to that, and I'm glad, and I see that we're in the process of going back to that. But just like you said, for the last 16 years, people have been fake as shit. So when you see somebody still floundering around fake as shit, I'm not surprised. Throughout all of J. Cole's career, it's been fake shit being let like sliding. So I don't want y'all to confuse what I'm saying as if he didn't do no whole shit. He did whole shit. I'm saying I'm not surprised, and y'all not gonna convince me that fuck J. Cole. We can never listen to J. Cole. It doesn't matter anymore what J. Cole has to say because y'all have a shitload of other music where y'all listening to fake ass niggas. Like I think it's a little bit maybe not on your part, Glasses, because I understand the movement you pushing, and I definitely think rap is going in that way. But I do think niggas is over exaggerating. I think whole niggas is talking about J. Cole doing whole shit.
You know, again, you know, I gotta say, I personally agree with everybody. You know what I'm saying? And I think enough of my coverage has come from that standpoint. But again, when to Scru Face particularly, when I was describing this, I personally feel like with where Cole is and where Drake are, even though it's self-inflicted, we've never seen anybody reconcile with any of this before. And so I'm not necessarily surprised at the scattered nature of their opinions and conversations flowing from, you know, bar to bar almost at different points in time. I mean, just the level of the level of impact it takes to be this far on the wrong side of history through personal decisions, I also think it's part of this equation. You know what I mean? And now, whether or not that means people give people grace in these circumstances, but I'm not sure what success looks like when it comes to re-releasing or releasing music after going through something like this. Like for each of you, what would it look like if J. Cole had put out a successful conversation? I'm not talking about a project, how well it sells or anything like this, but for this to be his first body of work, what does a successful conversation even look like from J. Cole at this point in time, based on things you guys have shared so far?
I think like be real with himself in the audience for the first time maybe in his career. Like just go. You're going really, really wide, but go deeper. Like just go deeper. And because I think like when you're this talented, I'm the best bars is a lot of fluff. Like, we know, like, you've been rapping at a high caliber for years at this point. So I'm just looking for more. I think that storytelling through it and really, and I guess people are saying, well, he addressed it. Well, I'm saying I don't believe it. I don't know. Maybe is that as deep as you can go? That you don't want blood and it's fake beef and there's never going to be a stain on me. So I just walk around like nothing changed. Like, that's ridiculous. No, people don't want to hear that you feel like nothing's changed. People don't want to hear that if Aubrey is trying to change the rules by suing, you're trying to change the rules by saying, I could step up to the plate and actually say nope and still be the best. Like, no, you're trying to change the rules too. Like, so, I mean, you know, Elle, you asked, you know, do you think Cole is hip hop? For sure. But I think that's a big thing is like the people who dissect bars, the people who are watching 3 hour, 4 hour long breakdowns, you failed them. You failed hip hop as a culture by not giving us something, you know, there. And so I feel like him moving on from that, I think just actually being real, because what we've gotten from Port Antonio, from the grippy shit, from this, it's just a lot of fluff and a lot of the same of what we've been hearing for years and years and years. Okay, you're the best, but we just saw you like confront the boogeyman and you got scared or something. I don't know. Like, we dig into that, flesh that a little bit more. Like, just saying that, like, oh, the fans wanted Bloodsport and oh, this is fake and y'all are botting and you're using it as marketing. That's just, it's just not enough for me. So I feel like even you know, the 4-pack leading up to the album could have addressed that in a more serious way instead of this bullshit. I don't know. The only person you really name check, except for Simba, was Laurie Harvey, a woman who's not even involved in this. So I don't know.
And even the
It's
Simba
just,
thing was a little funny because they say J. Cole called himself Young Simba.
yes.
So I have a
So I didn't even catch
question.
that first.
Do y'all think mainstream rap is a lot of fluff right now? Or do y'all
Pop
think
rap.
mainstream rap? Do y'all think mainstream rap is all real niggas? Majority.
No, it's definitely fluff. But
I don't
think,
even think it's as deep as who's a real nigga and who's not when it comes to, if we're just talking about like the J. Cole situation, because I'm not saying he's not a real nigga. I or even to the what it would take for him to be successful. He's gonna be successful. I just, what are you saying? What would it take for me to like in what I want to hear or like what, like that's why I say like none of this is as, I think everybody's blowing this out of proportion. I think J. Cole's blowing this out of proportion. I think the people who are on the don't listen to him anymore after the apology are blowing out of proportion. I think the people who are just accept anything he says are blowing out of proportion. It's just as simple as when you're saying like the fall off narrative and you're telling the story of the fall off and what happens. Okay, cool. That could lead into some other introspective and stuff like that. When you just start sprinkling it with the competitive bars, it almost just feels like buyer's remorse, where it's like you are mad that you did what you did, but I almost want him to let it go, to him to let that moment go, because he clearly hasn't. So, and that's the thing where I go like, people are acting like J. Cole did not just drop a I'm the best competitive, basically battle rap mixtape after that. So it's like, that's why that's the conversation. It's that simple. Just as when he says something about killing people for fun, he's a giant, everybody's small to them, line rappers up, he's going to get looked at sideways. When the next line is about something else, then you go on to judge that line for that line. I just, it's just not that deep either way. But I'm not gonna, the people who are gonna look at J. Cole the way for doing that are not gonna change, and vice versa. So it's just like, it's hip hop. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna keep talking about it. We still debate Nas and Jay-Z, so we're going to talk about it. That's how hip hop works. So I just think that it's not really a thing about if he's real or not. I don't know that. Just what he did was not real to me. That's all.
I think what he's asking is how does he connect to the culture, and it's like outside of his fan base. And I think the truth is the thing he's been branding himself with, authenticity. Like other times it felt real. It's not like people don't want it to be real. Scru and BK are saying exactly what I'm thinking. Like, you did this.
Mm-hmm.
You said this is who you were. So we're asking for you to be what you said you were. And we're expecting to believe that this is it. But What you're doing now is shallow. How did you go from possibly being one of the most introspective artists in hip hop history, right, into where now you're like shallow as a wading pool? Like everything that's happening is shallow. Like, and I mean, it could have been the Harry Potter spell that happened 2 years ago. Like, the veil is lifted, and now we like, oh shit, because like I would jam these dudes' music when they would make dope records, right? I'd be like, oh, this shit is jamming.
J.
Some
Cole?
jamming shit. Hell yeah.
Look at her
J.
face.
Cole is one of the most introspective rap artists of all time.
I'm saying this is how it's being presented. Obviously, I'm a fan of Scarface.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
I'm
right.
a fan of Scarface.
Yeah.
Right. So
Go ahead.
So no, not two glasses. I'm saying this is how it's presented to me.
Okay.
Right, man, this dude right here. I'm telling you, G, man, I'm telling you. Or Drake. Oh, Drake is interesting. I'm like, this is deep to y'all. You know what I mean? And so I'm not knocking it. I'm saying, so here it is. And then when he would deliver a song, right, here's this Missy Elliott song. I love Missy. I'm like, man, I love this song. Right, it's a great record. Here's this Crooked Smile song. I love it. They're a little poppy. You know, they don't feel unique to just our experience, right, or our culture. It just feels like, hey, these are kind of close enough, and everybody can like them. Cool, man. This dude is dope. But here is the moment to really push the art forward, like, right, to push deeper than the art has ever been. What do you take the moment and do?
He's incapable.
Well, I like this comment right here from Brittany, right? It says, Cole said the top ain't really what I thought it would be, so I jumped off and landed back at the bottom. I can relate. There's an unbearable feeling that makes you want to jump unless you find meaning in the competition. I mean, if he's able to connect with people on that level, you know, for people who might have had a similar experience or stage fright, does that matter? Screw, what you got?
But which the reason why my problem is literally that, where in that he says that line, which is very introspective, and it's saying that he purposely basically is no longer in the top, and he knows that because he didn't want to be there. So it's like, okay, that's an interesting angle, follow that. But then he'll follow that up with being like, actually, I am the top. Nobody can beat me. That's the thing I don't understand, because even after that, he goes on to talk about, nah, I'm actually still at the top. But it's like, so what story are we supposed to be following? Are you the person who was at the top who fell off and is the fall off? That's the movie. Are you the person who is the king, is the greatest, and you're showing this to the greatest? I just don't, it's just mixed messaging back and forth. So in order for me to, it's like what Glass is saying, in order for me to connect with that message, you cannot say something contradicted throughout the rest of the project to say that. Where I literally said on the first song, he literally says, I had to pull up the lyric because I couldn't remember what he said, because people were saying that people were saying it wrong, but I have the lyric that says, apology dropped me way out of the top 3. No problem. I'm probably my best when they doubt me. Then literally the next song, 2 lines later, he says, nah, I'm on the top. You can't knock me off of my spot. So it's just like, which one of those those are conflicting narratives, and those happen literally 2 bars from each other. So what story am I following? Are you on the top and you got knocked off because you wanted to? Or are you not on the top? It's like he's just trying to have his cake and eat it too.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that we keep trying to make hip hop about literary devices and meaningless jargon, whatever sounds witty. This is the problem. This is what I was telling Elle. This is what I tell Trap. I don't give a fuck how many literary devices you put in this shit. What are you saying? And once you peel back what he is saying, that shit is trash, because it is contradicting. I'm a Crip. No, I'm a Blood. Bro, what is happening? Fix it. And we should, as a culture, be able to say, hey, man, pick a place. Just work from there. Not judge it off the literary devices. Bro, this is not AP English 4. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with being dope technically, but at least make the subject, the gravity, like, you know, heavy. Justin, like, heavy, man. Just, you know, it can't be light. It's like outer space. It's just floating around. Hey, I'm not the best. I am the best.
Yo, Jay, I think this is a good question for you real quick. And I think if everybody could touch on this, I think this would be really helpful for a lot of people who might be watching this conversation and trying to figure out different things, right? Because me personally, I look at Drake and J. Cole very similarly. But the question is, and this is from Dog 360. I butchered that.
Cold Dog.
Cold Dog. There we go. Cold Dog 360. Cole deserves points deducted for backing out of the battle, but why does Drake get more credit and still top 3 over Cole while committing worse hip-hop violations that deserves immediate disqualification from rankings like ghostwriting and suing after losing a battle?
I'm glad you asked me that question, Justin, because Drake is not hip-hop. I don't know why we ain't got this yet. I've said this since 2019, way before the battle. I've been telling Kendrick this since 2000. He's not hip-hop. He's a great rapper. He makes great rap music. He's not hip-hop. Hip-hop is a cultural thing when you express it, street urban culture, artistically expressed through those elements, right? That's not what he does. He uses anything to make great records. There's no movement of us. He did a move. If he did a movement of us, his us would be guys with black trench coats on, pigtails under caps. He's not, not us. I'm saying there would be no other us. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying us in hip hop is when you see G thing, that's us. When you see Public Enemy, that's us. When you see us, it's us, right? And it don't just mean black. It's more than that. I'm saying there's a street urban movement, right? So it's not he deserves point for backing out of the battle. I completely disagree. The most J. Cole thing that J. Cole did in this situation was apologize. That's the consistent theme that I've noticed from the outside looking into his career. He always apologizes. He corrects himself. Nothing wrong with that. The worst points deduction is this is your friend, you said. And then that situation forced you to go put together 2 diss records and do all of that. And you can't pull that back. You're not friends. Part 1. Final point, right? And which is like weird is the Port Antonio. After you say, hey, you know what? I'm way too grown for this. This just sit right in my spirit. Blah, blah, blah. You could have took that moment and expanded on that. You could have went deeper into your spirit and talked about exactly the things that was keeping you up at night when you couldn't sleep. But what you did was you took the moment on Port Antonio, bro, and made it about how you would have killed niggas if you went through with it. What are you talking about, bro? Fuck your literary devices. Fuck your bars. Fuck your skill set. So Drake doesn't get more credit. Drake gets more credit as a man for the battle, but he's not hip-hop. It's not a hip-hop violation. He's not hip-hop. That's why he don't give a fuck right now. The culture cannot hold him accountable with suing and ghostwriters. We all knew it. Every fucking body knew it. Y'all just lying if you act like you didn't. You knew years ago he wasn't fucking hip-hop. You never thought hip-hop was just this. You didn't, but you just didn't care because somebody was successful and you liked his jams, and he got good jams. I love Nonstop, but I never confused it with what this was. When Madonna, I like some Madonna songs, but that is not what Luther Vandross does. I know the fucking clear difference. He's not hip-hop, so he doesn't get more credit than hip-hop. It's not a hip-hop violation.
I think I found out where we disagree, because I use your analysis of rap versus hip-hop all the time. Like, I think it was very poignant analysis. I don't think I agree that J. Cole is hip-hop. I do not agree that J. Cole is representing street urban culture. I think J. Cole is rap. And I think the same way you like, well, we don't expect that out of Drake because he ain't hip-hop. I think that's how I feel about J. Cole. So I guess I'm confused because I don't see what was supposed to be expected. Like J. Cole was going to stand up to be this super real nigga and do everything right in this way. I never had those expectations of J. Cole. And I think that's what it is that I'm like kind of looking like I'm confused by this gas, by people being aghast. I don't like, oh, so Glasses, why
I think because it's like, is it all fake then? Like we all okay, and I think this is the thing, right? Where it's like, yes, niggas lie in they raps, right? We even talked about that like last week with D1 and them, right? But it's like this is a whole persona. This is what we've accused Drake of having, like that his best role is playing like, is it all that then?
That's true for a majority of mainstream rappers.
But since when has it
specifically using the term like you said, Screw, the battle rap terminology, the like come against me, I will kill you. Like not just you didn't really sell that much perks in you or whatever. Like, but like the whole persona around you is I will bop 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 like it, you know, pin to pad and picking up the mic.
It came to me.
Let's let Screw jump in real fast.
Yeah.
Real fast.
What I was gonna add to that is, yes, a lot of rappers lie. Yes, all rappers lie. But since when has it been a problem to call out a rapper when he lies? I don't. Why is like that's all that's happening? Like, yes, all rappers lie. Just like if Tekashi 6ix9ine jumped on a song and said, "And I never told on anybody," I guarantee you, everybody would say, "Hey, you're lying." If Drake on the next on Iceman goes, "And I never lost a battle," I guarantee you people will go, "Hey, you're lying." So just like a bunch of rappers lie, yes, and when you find it, you call it out. That's all that's happening. It's just you're lying. It sounds good, but you're lying. That's all. That's all. That's
no. I want to be clear.
Give me 1 second. Hey, Screw, real quick. I would love to hear your take on whether J. Cole is hip hop or not. This is fascinating to me. I haven't seen people broach this topic.
I never thought about that.
Do you think J. Cole is hip hop?
I think J. Cole is hip hop. I don't know what necessarily wouldn't make him hip hop. I think he did something that was very un-hip hop. I think it gets a little tricky by separating hip hop and rap. To me, I guess a little confusing in my brain. And the reason why I would classify him and why I put him to the standard is because his whole career, this is what he's been saying. He's been a child of hip hop. He's been, if you listen to his what's it called? His influences. When you listen to his references, you can tell the beats he raps on. You can tell he's hip hop, but he just did something that wasn't hip hop. And just like when Drake sued, and we've been talking about it for all this time, we're just doing the same thing with the Cole stuff. That's the only thing I see, and the reason why I expected J. Cole to stand up and do something, or is because like on songs where he says, "Cause I ain't into sort of kind of dissing niggas. I'm borderline addicted to slaughter. Line up niggas in order of who you think can really fuck with me the most. Then I tuck the heat close. If he don't duck, then he goes." That's on Everybody Dies. So it's like, and that's in 2016. So that I'm going to hold you to that standard when a rapper, especially somebody that we thought can fuck with you the most, that you said verbatim, and then that happens, then I'm just holding you to the standard of what you said, and you didn't live up to it. And that's really.
And Vanilla Ice said he would wax a chump like a candle on Ice Ice Baby.
And he got called out when people found out that he wasn't real and he wasn't street.
Found out. Vanilla Ice?
Yeah, when he originally came out, I wasn't alive. So I'm saying that when he came out to be street, or when it was verified that he wasn't, he got called out for it. Because other than that, it was just, I feel you just assume that he's not because he's white, but there's white people who will wax you. So
I mean, I've never questioned whether or not J. Cole was hip hop. I think the totality of how he moves, his presence, his research, his history, you know what I'm saying, his care in a lot of ways has always exemplified hip hop to me. And I don't know if I'm questioning it yet, but I do see where the conversation between Drake and J. Cole maybe not be as wide as I once thought. G, what are you about to say?
What's like, I never thought about that because I'm not necessarily like a fan. So I don't know, like I've listened to one album or died. I never really like Drake is different. I've consumed his music since he first signed to the label. Like I heard his mixtapes. I'm aware of who he is completely, right? So I'm aware. Cole is different. I never thought about that. That's true, but I'd have to really kind of dig into that because some of the stuff, maybe we're wrong. And that's how I feel about Drake. Like, I'm not upset that he's suing. Of course he's suing. Of course. Why? What else was he going to do? You know what I mean? Of course he has a ghostwriter. Why would he not? I mean, the greatest pop artists have a writer. I guess there's some simple thing. And I guess that's why I felt cool always saying culture light. Like he's definitely a kid that could have grew up on the internet. If you at that age, you could have grew up on the internet and you digested all your hip hop through the arts. You only digested them through the internet. You heard the songs, you saw the music videos and you just started to emulate that, but I would imagine like you have to go outside and get your hip hop. Like it has to be outside, like right, or inside the house. Maybe your parents. Like it can't just be I heard the songs, right? Or I listened to the video, I saw the videos, and then I start dressing like the rappers. Like it's outside your front door, and then you bring us Fayetteville, right? And you say, hey, here I am, right? This kid out of Fayetteville, and here's how I lived my life. Here's my movement, the us, right? That makes hip hop. It's the us. And it's like I never thought about that. Like even the songs that I like are a bit pop.
Yeah, I think that was the majority of rap. I think hip hop blew up, and once people saw it so repetitively, they were able to cosplay it. And so we got to a point where it's like, well, do you really have to bring us street urban culture and show us your hood, or could you perfect, like you said, the literary devices and make dope songs? And we have, like, that's why I said I think that was a very poignant distinction that you made between hip hop and rap. I use it all the time. I'm gonna be honest. I give you props when I use it though. But I'm
about that, yeah.
If you gonna be the arbiter of it, what is making you look at J. Cole? Like if you go down that same line of question that you say, like, what did we learn about Fayetteville? For real. Like, I don't know. I see the chat is staring me down.
His neighbors were selling dope.
Oh, I might be the biggest J. Cole fan here, and he actually talks about Fayetteville a lot. Like a lot. And he breaks down, he has songs where he's like rapping about his neighborhood, like a lot of songs where he's talking about coming up in Vietnam, and he's literally, people call it Vietnam a lot because of J. Cole. He does rap a lot about being from Vietnam.
What's some slang? Like what's some slang from Fayetteville?
I don't know the
Vietnam. Vietnam is slang from Fayetteville.
I mean, but Vietnam is, I know that from listening to
what kind of cars do they drive?
I mean, I don't know. I'll say this real quick. I don't think we could put that on Cole, you know what I'm saying, solely.
But even in that, J. Cole's videos, I be seeing a lot of old schools and stuff.
See it, Glasses?
Whoa. Oh, no. Hold on. This is the consistent thing about hip hop that I've been able to prove during the home boat. If I start asking you the hip hop questions, you know the answers, right? Just and simple, right? And it don't take that many rappers. You get it pretty fast, especially somebody that has 10 plus years of work. You know, we start talking about 50 to 100 videos. You really start to digest the culture. And she's right. Like I never thought about it like that. It's like if I ask you about, like, right, you're in LA, but you're not in like our LA, right? You've been to our LA, but you're not in our LA. But if I ask you, I say, hey, Justin, what kind of cars do we drive? What kind of what do we call the street urban cultural cars of Los Angeles? You know what they are, right?
Low riders, yeah.
How about the kind of shoes we wear?
Right, Chucks, Vans.
Right. And if I ask you about what do they call cars in Houston? Like, you know, what's that kind of car? Right. It's a slab, right? And what do they call them in Miami, right? Dunks. What's that in Toronto? You wouldn't know. With 18 years worth of albums, 18 years worth of music videos, you wouldn't have any idea, right? And there's a street urban culture there, but the artist that's presenting it is not presenting it. They're presenting all of ours to us again, right? It's like if Drake goes and he's under the Bay Bridge and he has a low rider under the Bay Bridge, even though people in the Bay don't drive low riders, but it's like, hey, I'm showing you all the West Coast culture. It's like Taco Bell. It's like I'm putting together two things, a Mexican pizza, even though they don't make pizzas like that in Mexico. It's like, but it's a cool idea, but it's American cuisine, so it's not Mexican food. Well, what would be the same for J. Cole? Like, you can't deny hip hop is a cultural movement.
Let's take this same premise. I think it's really interesting and elevate it outside of just Drake, Cole, and the things that just happened. Because there's a few questions in here that, you know, connect back to Kendrick, or excuse me, to Nas and Jay. And this one I think is interesting. It says, I understand why everyone feels the way they feel, and I have been a fan and critic of Scru. But why do we not treat Biggie this way when he never responded to Tupac? Why do we not treat Jay when he cried on the radio and apologized after the Nas battle? Is there a difference here?
I don't think it's for me, and forgive me, Scru, I don't think it's the apology. It's how he's carried himself around this whole situation. I get it. The average person can articulate. I was telling Elle and Trap this last night. The average person, the average fan can articulate what's wrong. So they'll find the highlight, the emotional high of it all. But it's the complete way he's carried himself. right? It's like this person went from going kind of like the most regular and, you know, authentic figure, you know, to the point where people felt like he was more authentic than Kendrick or more authentic than Drake. And they felt like he was the grounded guy. And here's his brand coming in, right? This is what's presented to me by like people like Scru or different fans. He's the most grounded guy. And then right now he's looking ungrounded. And it's like, so they put it about that. Like if Drake would have just not entertained it, it would have been great. If J. Cole it would have not mattered. Like nobody would care. It would have been like if Cole would have came out and said, man, I'm gonna call my boy. Y'all tripping. That's my boy. Would not want. Yes, you have a troll or two that would have been like, you know what? Man, you tripping. But Scru would have been like, yeah, that's your boy. Get him on the phone. Scru is a Cole fan. He'd be like, hey, get him on the phone. Because that's what I would expect. I wouldn't expect Scarface and Tupac to battle. Hey, call your friend. I'm not looking for a battle. I'm sure Scru as a Cole fan and a fan of Dot, like a supporter, a friend of Dot, somebody who met Dot could have said, hey, man, yeah, you supposed to call him. None of us would have got mad if he didn't battle. Not a soul. Because you're supposed to be friends. Y'all got an album together. Y'all been rapping against this whole time. None of us would have thought twice. It's the fact that you jump out there, you do something unrecognizable, it's unfamiliar. You jump out there, like boom, you the first one to drop disses. You beat Drake. You couldn't wait. Like, and I had the response like, ooh, shit. There's some fighting that dog. This nigga crazy. How you beat everybody? You ain't even take the brunt of the shit. You got 2 tracks. You got a whole project, which I have an issue with the title of that track, because that's something girls say when they post inappropriate pictures, might delete later. That's not really a masculine thing to say. But you jump out there faster than everybody. You out there, I'm like, oh shit, this nigga might be a dog. Dot, you might have bit off more than you could chew. And he just spit the food up. He's like, no. He was like, I ain't. He just unlocked. So it's not the apology. Like Tupac, when Tupac and Biggie happy, nobody tripped. Nobody was like, oh, Biggie didn't take the battle. We was like, well, shit, fuck it. And when Hypnotized came out, guess what? We was jamming it. Now, if he would have jumped out there and did a bunch of shit, then we could critique it. But right now, he told us, man, I'm not responding to that. Cole could have did the same. Drake actually told us that. You remember Scru? This me, you'll never hear a reply for it. I heard that. And then I started hearing replies for disses. So Cole could have easily said, you know what, man, that's my boy. He could have did an interview, Justin, with you. Man, Drake, man, what? Kendrick, my boy, I don't fuck what he talking about. That's my nigga. He ain't fuck what y'all talking about. This my nigga right here. This nigga. Game said my name in a record in 2005. Glasses Malone is not signed to Wall Street. Niggas call me, man, Game dissing you. Man, I'm not. This nigga just put me on. I just made them there $1 million. I don't fuck what he's. I see him when I talk to him in person. You're not, nigga, what? So how is a nigga that you got all this money and success, right? Back to your point, all this pressure. That's your friend. So no, bro, he didn't have to do the battle. He could have just, none of us would have looked at him crazy if he'd have just been like, man, that nigga, Dot is my nigga, man. What the hell he talking about? Dot, man, I'd have put out a message. If Dot dissed me in a song where I felt like Dot, I mean, man, Dot, man, you, boy, you better go somewhere. Nigga, what? That's you my man. So it's not that, it's the bullshit. Even when Jay apologized to Nas' baby mama, right? He said, hey, that was wrong. I didn't have to bring this woman into it. So again, it's like, it's not the apology that's the problem. It's the way that he's carrying himself. And to somebody like Scru, who's a real fan of him, I would imagine Scru is saying he's looking unrecognizable. Like, I don't recognize this person.
You saying it was the pump fake of it all?
Absolutely. That's what it is for me. It's the lack of it's like you cannot compare Cole again. It's like Drake went into uncharted territory by trying to sue hip hop or, you know, actively suing hip hop. And Cole is in my view, some uncharted territory of jumping out, coming back, the funny stuff, trying to rewrite history, fan fiction. Then you never had it's all of it. It's the cumulative nature of it all. And I think that, you know, to Glass's point, if there was just no response and you did like an in-depth interview, because it is, I mean, this is part of the canon of hip hop. Like, this is the big three. This is decades in the making. This is a huge moment that people will talk about forever. And he did something that was unrecognizable. And then is now trying to chart a path where it's like, that's okay. I'm just going to let skill make me the GOAT. And it's like, that's just not how that like when we split hairs on LeBron and Michael Jordan, we're talking about chips. Like, you know, when it gets down to it, it's like when you face your opponent, like, what did you do? And so I think, you know, Jay was in the battle. Like, that's one thing. If you don't respond, that's another thing. And then you maybe explain later why you didn't. But like jumping out and coming back and then trying to rewrite history around it, like, of course, that just can't be compared to like, you know, any other decade, in my opinion.
Imagine what
I
Pac
want
died.
to real quick, Glass. I want to get a Scru in here. He's not actually in the mention here, but he's trying to jump in for a second.
And just to get back to the hip hop history of it, Biggie did respond to Tupac. You gotta listen to Long Kiss Goodnight. He jabbed at him plenty of times. He just didn't make an open diss track because it was literally life or death situation at that time. But he did respond to Tupac in ways. And also, Jay-Z, those two situations are nowhere near the same thing because Jay-Z didn't apologize for making Super Ugly. He apologized for the specific thing he said about Nas's baby moms, and that's after Takeover. So he already did a full dedicated Nas diss. Then Ether came out. Then he dropped Super Ugly. Then he apologized for that one line. That's not the same thing. So no, it wasn't him getting on stage, deleting Super Ugly or saying, we're going to drop an album version with no Super Ugly, or we're never going to, like, that wasn't the same thing at all. And that's kind of rewriting history. And that's a little bit more of that whataboutism. If Jay, the only way you can compare apples to apples, is there another rapper who was on stage or in a public forum like that who did that type of apology and retracted after being somebody who initiates wanting a fight? Just compare apples to apples. You don't gotta go Tupac and Jay-Z. It's like, no, those are not the same thing. Both of those people actually competed.
That's the rewrite history.
1 second applause. I wanna end with this last comment here, but then I want to move on to this Ye conversation because I do think that this is an important moment for Ye, even if it might not seem like it. But this one comes from Just Gwen. Shout out to Just Gwen. 1 second applause. She says, Cole was a military brat, so he moved around like my kids when they were younger. So they're not culture because of all the areas they lived. But now Cole is hip hop. And I do think Cole is hip hop too, to be honest. But I think that adds some color to perhaps why we hear different things in his music.
Well, I don't know because I don't think does he talk about moving around on his music? I don't know. I'm not.
He does. Like I think he talks way more about North Carolina. He does have a few songs about like moving around and stuff like that. But I think he has way more songs about just North Carolina specifically.
Right.
And then like later on, it's New York. Like, I mean, he's talking about New York like he's from there. So
I never realized how Drakey shit was.
Let me say this real quick because I think maybe a lot of people don't know what the analysis is, and some people could disagree with this. Sure. What I understand, and Glasses, correct me if I'm wrong. What I understand your analysis to be is hip hop is our rappers or artists sharing information about street urban culture, and rappers are just people who can rap well making music. Is that correct?
Yes. A rapper is somebody who's just a rapper. Hip hop artist is a true artist of street urban culture. Like,
and it's okay to be a rapper, correct?
Yeah, fucking fire. Yeah, Drake is fire. Some good shit.
So I think what happened is we went from a large portion of hip hop artists, a small portion of rappers, to a large portion of rappers and a small portion of hip hop artists.
I never thought about it.
Correct. Yeah.
That this battle is like the grand strike that is going to shift that, where now people are going to require at least an even level of hip hop artists and rappers, or even more hip hop artists and rappers. And I hope that all this frustration that we're hearing, where it's like, this ain't how you operate in hip hop, this is not how it's supposed to be. I hope that it's to lead to people saying, well, we rappers are cool, but we want more hip hop because this is what we like. So when I say I'm not surprised, it's because I see J. Cole as a rapper, and a damn good rapper at that. And he's being judged as a hip hop artist.
Yeah, I definitely think rap is way bigger than hip hop right now, and I think it's the easiest one to commercialize, so I think it actually makes sense. You know, the commodified culture industry has been siphoning off everything from rap for a long time, and I think this is part of the byproduct. But yo, 1 second applause to everybody. That was a great round one. Okay, that was quick. All right. I do want to talk about this Ye apology. If you missed it, Kanye West, I kind of feel like it was a spillover from, at least partially, a spillover from Sneeko, Andrew Tate, and all those guys going out in Miami and playing the HH song and getting banned from Miami nightlife and a number of different hospitality groups. The next week, Ye released a letter apologizing in the Wall Street Journal. And so he took out an ad in the Wall Street Journal with a long apology describing his challenges with bipolar, says he believes his traumatic brain injury after his car accident ignited a bipolar disorder inside of him. And he gave a very significant apology to the Jewish community for all of his anti-Semitism, anti-Semitic remarks, and him embracing the Nazi community. And then he also said very briefly that he apologized to the Black community as well.
It was like this little.
Yeah, there's a significant difference in the size of the paragraphs. And so, and then after that, today actually, he announced that his new project Bully will be released through Gamma. And he has an upcoming run of shows in Mexico that's coming up. Open panel to anyone. How do you guys feel about this Ye apology? Do you accept it? Do you think this is a sign of better days? Or is this just, is he sorry or is he selling?
I believe he's obviously selling. Bully's about to drop, and he needed to, I guess, clean his palette off or clean the plate off before he dropped it. But I do think that Kanye is way beyond. Like, he's just too far gone, and I just don't want people to think that having disabilities or mental illnesses makes you a white supremacist, because that there's not a straight line between that. And I think it stigmatizes mental illness. And so to like wrap it all in there and to be like, so I was in this car wreck, and then fast forward a couple years and I'm like HH saluting all Black Klans robe. That's ridiculous. I mean, and then there's so many instances, from slavery was a choice to selling Confederate flags to just absolutely pimping out Black gospel music to do your whole Jesus is King thing and then just completely discard that. And then you start at the school. What happens to them little kids? It's too much. And I think it's very convenient that he chose to put out the apology in the way that he did in order to, I guess, really tie the anti-Semitic, I think, loose ends, because that just, under an authoritarian regime that's actually invoking that stuff, I mean, it feels like way too on the nose. And I think Kanye has done too much. Like, he's maxed out the provocateur. Like, there is no more, there's no higher you can go than like Hitler, right? And so I think since he's tapped that out, he's like, okay, I guess I just gotta apologize now. So no, I think this is for selling more tickets. But I mean, not that I don't know if he still has the cult in terms of like, you know, the capture, maybe so, especially if it's like young white men that he's appealing to. So I don't feel like he even really needs to do all that, but feels like a really PR heavy response that someone on his team wrote and he put out in order to sell this album. So
yeah, that's how it read to me. Open floor. What are some other reactions to that?
My mom is a psychologist. She's been in that field for a long time, and she's always said that there is things problematic when people have like kind of dismissive behavior towards mental illness stuff, and it kind of feels like that's kind of what he's doing, and kind of blaming, because like that doesn't make you racist. That doesn't make you, and there's something very problematic in saying, this made me racist, this made me like, because all that happened, he just became like a bad person. He was being an overall bad person. And these things felt very planned out and very thought out. These were very concise moves to do certain, like, that doesn't make you anti-Semitic. And then also with the apology, I just had to do, because I feel like every time Kanye does this, we always forget he always does this. And I had to just Google how many times Kanye's apologized. There's 2018, he apologized this shit. Well, not even that. Let's just go to the 2020. 2022, he apologized for anti-Semitic comments. 2023, he apologized for the DEFCON 3. 2025, he apologized to Jay-Z for making remarks to his children and continued. This is his like third apology for the anti-Semitic stuff and fourth apology for these tweet rants. So it's like at a certain point, your apology is shown in your actions. It can't be shown in your words. So you've just apologized too many times, so it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, and that's away from the apology he did on WGCI after he said slavery was a choice. When he went back to Chicago on the radio, he apologized there. That's away from apologies that he's made a lot of apologies. I guess that's the broader point. Should people accept it? You know, I mean, for me, I'll say this from my standpoint. I detached myself emotionally from Ye probably 10 years ago. You know, when he put the red hat on and he started going outside like that, that was different for me because, you know, I think probably like everybody that's in this chat in one way or the other, we have been inspired by either his music, his relentless drive, his determination, his ability to stiff arm the naysayers and push towards his goal. That's not an easy thing to do. And that's something we rarely don't see as publicly when it comes to people who achieve greatness in the way that we've seen it with Kanye West. And so there's a lot of inspiration and motivation that I've taken from his story. And when he put the red hat on and he started doing slavery was a choice and all that, I was pissed. I was heated. I was like, what's happening? What's going on here? How do you go from George Bush don't care about black people to me neither? You know what I'm saying? I don't get it, right? But then after a while, I realized that the things that I loved about Ye and I was inspired by from Ye will always be with me. And now whoever he is now doesn't necessarily have to reflect the things that I was able to be inspired by from him previously. And so from that point forward, I've just been watching and reading, you know, just looking at him as another influential figure out here doing crazy stuff out in the world, right? So I look at this latest round of apologies and where he is, you know, this week, I guess. And I do see someone who's been sick for a very long time. I do see someone who has been screaming for one thing or another in one way or another. But I'm also since been watching him for so long throughout my career, I know that he has a tendency to make things as difficult as possible for himself so that he has to push himself even farther so that he can come out with something bigger and better, and then so he can stunt even harder. And so that has been a trend line that he's even talked about in early interviews in the early 2000s. And so this might be the biggest thing ever to ever come back from or try to come back from, but it also caters to the same pattern that we've seen with Ye over the past 22, 23 years, right? And so with all of that in mind, it becomes difficult for me to wonder if he's even really asking for an apology, if an apology or his apology to be accepted. You know, is it necessary to even give grace to someone who has been doing this long? You know, I mean, open floor. Do you guys feel like people should be able to appreciate where Ye is now and hope for the best, or are you just tired of being burned? Because that's a long list of apologies.
I will never forgive Kanye West. I think that he made a critical mistake in my eyes. I think the same, I guess, anger that people have towards J. Cole, I can relate to that towards Kanye West. To be a person who was attempting to highlight the ills of the Black community to get rich and then abandon us by saying all you niggas is broke and you will never understand me because I'm so great, I'm more in the realms of Walt Disney and all of them, than to dip into slavery was a choice, and to dip into I'm putting a red hat on because you niggas don't understand really how politics works, then to dip into that level of anti-Semitism, and then to turn around and say, oh, my bad, I was off my medicine. It's a stance I would never fall for. As a failed revolutionary myself, I take it very seriously what Kanye West did, and I think he used his limelight to harm the Black community in many ways. Yes, other people have done worse things. I don't want to make it like Kanye single-handedly fucked the community up or anything like that, but as well as that statement was written, shout out to the PR team that wrote it, or ChatGPT, because y'all prompt that. I'm not gonna lie, y'all wrote the hell out of that apology letter. But it's almost like the crackhead thieving uncle. No, Uncle Charlie, when you come back around this time saying that you better again after you stole my video game a million times and took this and took that. I don't believe you, and you can't come in the house. If grandma want to talk to you, I tell her to come to the door. You can't come in the house. I'll never forgive Kanye.
1 second applause. G, what do you think?
I'm serious. Fuck that.
Oh man, I hate how Elle just. You know what? Elle 9 out of 10. BK and Elle low key might be my spirit animal sometimes. But I'll tell you this. I always knew this is who he was. I'll tell you that much. Thank God I have a level of discernment that God has blessed me with. I'm grateful sometimes. When it's working, I get it. Like I always thought of those first 3 albums. I have a stream and a podcast where I talked about it, Screw. I talked about it. I said, you know what? I said, I like the records on the first 3, but they didn't feel authentic. I always felt that. It was like he was doing his best rendition of a Chicago nigga. Now, he's a Chicago person, but he not, you know, he was doing his best rendition, and I would enjoy the records. Kind of like in the Drake way. I'm like, oh, these are good records, you know. My favorite Nas verses on the second album, right? It's just some good records. But my favorite Kanye album is Yeezus, Pablo, right? Because I felt like this is really him. Like I always felt he was a sellout. And if I was going to judge his art, I was going to accept him for who he was. And what I love about Ye is just him really being him. So I am blessed, right? No different than Drake, right? I always thought this is who he was. And I was right. I was like, okay, well, you know, the apology is like, you know, this is like Scru said, this is kind of his thing. He just like, yeah, I'm sorry. You know, but I am sure I always knew this is who he was. So, you know, you don't got to try to act. I don't know why he's acting. Just be you, bro. Just fuck it. I was on that day, you know, just, and he does have mental. I'm sure that's true, right? You can't think all this crazy shit he's thinking without being a little, you know, something, you know, the elevator only going to the 5th floor in a 10-story building. You know, the driveway don't go all the way to the garage. You can't create some of the stuff he's creating at this fundamental level without, you know, things being connected differently. So, but, you know, I don't need the apology. Nigga, you exactly who I thought you were. I'm glad you showed everybody else. Now I'm just not crazy.
Yeah, I wonder who this is for, because it's like the fans who are still with you through all this shit are gonna be with you, and the culture will never accept you in the way. You know what I mean? Like, I just wonder, was this to fulfill some sort of like contractual or like obligation or whatever? Because it's just like you've been this outrage. It's not just outrageous, like it's like hate crimes and like also like allegations, like SA allegations and stuff, which wasn't mentioned in the letter either. So it's just, I just wonder who this was for, because it's like, bro, yeah, you've been doing this for a while now.
I mean, I think I can understand the allegations not being mentioned, especially if it's an open case right now.
Of course.
You know, I wouldn't go too hard into that. You know, I just think it's really sad overall. You know, and I think to a degree, I agree with Elle and G heavily here. You know, he has shown us time and time again a series of actions that let us know that whatever Ye was worried about or prioritizing was most important to Ye. Like, at bare minimum, you can look at the history of Kanye West and say, yeah, here's somebody who seems like he'll say some stuff just to get the stuff that he needs and push forward and achieve those things. I'm just really disappointed in the lack of emphasis on the Black community in that apology. Like that to me, you know, that little sentence and a half, you know, that smooth old school Twitter, 140 characters, whatever he dropped.
I'm sorry to y'all niggas too.
You know what I'm saying?
I miss, you know what's funny? When you wasn't alive yet, Screw. This is the cool thing about getting old, bro. So the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, used to be called the JDL. It was the Jewish Defense League. And it was the goon. It was the Jewish gangsters that if you did something to a Jewish person, them motherfuckers will come see you. And you're going to be in a fight. I think that's what Kanye, they need to get back to Kanye should have to fight one of the best fighters that's a Jewish person to make that right. I think that's how they should do that. right? And I feel like with us, we just stuck with it. You know, he ours. That's how it is. You know what? Everybody, you know, Kanye is our sellout. I'm not even gonna lie, he's ours, and we stuck with him. We just not gonna fuck with him right now. Like she said, Uncle Charlie, like, are you on that bullshit, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but he ours.
And I might bring Uncle Charlie a plate to the door.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's fucking yay, bro. You know, the man said he sucked his little cousin, bro. It's yay, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you expect bullshit, and it's like he's stuck. But I think specifically, here's my advice: they need to go back to the JDL, bring an old squabbler, because they got some squabblers that's boxers. He need to fight them. Like, if he wants to really earn their trust back, take this fade.
We taking it back to hands. Hands. It all comes back to hands. One second applause.
Won't do nothing.
One second applause for hands.
The new iteration, no. But if they go back to the original gangster, screw, they used to punching on shit. Get back to the regular basics.
Real fast. I want to. We've got one more time. I want to get maybe 5-10 minutes. One answer around the horn on the last topic, since we are coming up here on the the 2 hours. But the other biggest story this week was Akademiks and Lil Baby. Akademiks and Lil Baby. And so Akademiks went online. He went on live, and he talked about how someone who is affiliated with Lil Baby swung on him in Miami. And so in that conversation, he was upset, and he revealed that he was paid $30,000 to say positive things about Lil Baby's most recent release and most recent project. Now, this had a huge conversation that dominated the beginning of this week. Like, when I was doing stories this week, I've been altering the way I report on different things, and I was like, "Oh, there's 3 stories right here. Do I do ICE? Do I do Yay? Or do I do this Akademiks thing? Because there's some real media concerns that are happening in the middle of that one." I went with Yay because to me that was something that was a little bit weightier. But that was a big conversation this week. And Scru Face, I loved your coverage. I loved your coverage around this. Do you want to explain to people, what it is that you see in this story, and what stands out most to you about this interaction, another interaction between Akademiks and Lil Baby?
Well, I kind of looked at the whole situation, the whole slap, punch, whatever, as just another one of the extensions of it. It's feeling like a bad year for those streamers. It's not all streamers. It's a particular batch of them, and it's feeling like they're kind of getting, which I'm not even saying I condone violence before, but I'm saying it's just seeming to be happening. But just the elephant in the room, obviously me and Akademiks have had issues and situations. I don't like anything about him, but when I was covering it, I tried to go as best as I could. I tried to go, let me try to like look at it on some advice level. Now, of course, I'm gonna throw my jabs in there and stuff, but I was saying that the strategy of what he's doing doesn't make any sense. First of all, you admit to taking monies to suppress your word. And I think he tried to do that as some flex. That's why he said, well, now I need 300,000. And I don't think he was even thinking about what he was saying at the moment, because I was like, it was even bad timing, because A$AP Rocky literally just called you a paid agent, just freshly called you that. And there's been times where Akademiks said, oh no, I can't, my word can't be bought because then it won't mean stuff. Like, I've seen clips of those been going up. And when he admitted that, I even said it doesn't even make sense on a petty level, because now we know your Lil Baby critiques aren't going to hit as hard, because we know that you're doing it on purpose to hate on him. And it's actually going to have the negative effect that now we're not going to take any of your negative critiques seriously. But if you say anything even kind of positive, it's going to mean twice as much, because we know you're trying to take him down. So on top of, and I said, like, after this whole situation, Akademiks is going to he stained his brand way more than he could ever hurt Lil Baby's brand with this, because now he better prepare himself that every single time he has any take, he tries to break any news, the tweets are, did QC pay for this? Did QC pay for this? Even if it has nothing to do with QC. So it's like, I think he tried to trade his integrity and thought he was going to get some street cred and got neither. I think he was just like, so now we know you paid to say things. We know you're just going to hate on Lil Baby, so it's not going to affect that much. And nobody thinks you're any tougher than we thought before this happened. So that was kind of like my takes on the situation.
I mean, I look at this story and, you know, I actually tend to think Akademiks is going to be okay. You know, I've watched him weather some things that I thought some things that in fact I know would derail 87% of the people I've ever worked with in media. I've watched him get through that. I think overall he's probably going to be okay on that tip. But what I saw with that was just from the media standpoint, the evolution of how, you know, marketing, advertising, and payola, right? It's all of this is very nebulous for most people and the average consumer of anybody's content, right? You get used to watching people's YouTube, for example, you'll see prize picks, or you'll see call this law firm, or you'll see this is the VPN you need to use, right? You know, you used to go to websites, you would see Def Jam banners around the outside of a website, right? You know, I come from that school of sponsored content, essentially, right? But those things are always very separate. You always had a separation on the opinion side of the house versus on the news side of the house. And all of that is so nebulous when it comes to online conversations, independent platforms, et cetera. You know, open panel to anybody. Do you guys think that it actually carries weight with the audience when you see people who have openly admitting to taking money from artists, from labels, for brands, when it comes to their opinion on the art that's being sold?
I just thought we all viewed ACK as a compromised mouthpiece, and that, you know, you're going to get propaganda when you consume ACK. I think it just depends on what demographic we're talking about in terms of like it meaning anything. Like if it's just the kiddos, like teens, like maybe not. But I think it's kind of like, you know, when you have a ghostwriter allegation, everyone's just gonna like assume that everything, oh well, everything comes into question. And so ACK, you know, where it was kind of like Scru mentioned, ASAP was like, well, you'll say something and it's like, we know you took the money for that. And then he kind of laughed it off like, nah, I don't do that. So he almost kind of still had that thin veil of like, you know, maybe what I'm saying isn't bought. Maybe I'm actually just dick sucking for free. Maybe I'm not actually doing it for pay. I don't know. But I thought something that was interesting too with this was the blending of the streamer world too, because how somehow Aiden got triangulated because Aiden talked to Lil Baby and they're trying to set up some fight between Ack and Baby. Like it's the waters are so muddied, and I think we consume so much misinformation and disinformation, especially on X, Twitter, which is like the main platform that Ack uses, and Kick. It's not going to make that big. Like I tend to agree, it probably won't make that big of a difference. But I wonder on the back end if that's going to affect the number of people that's willing to like pay him to put their opinions out. Like does he now look like from the back end standpoint, does it be like, okay, well, Ack is kind of a squeaky wheel, he's kind of a loose faucet, so maybe we don't send him any more money for that. So I'm interested to see how it'll affect him on the back end. But whoever's still like willingly consuming Akademiks content, like they probably don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you on the not care part, but that's a really good question. Like, how does that affect people reaching out to Ack if it's now known that he's taking the money? And not even just Ack again specifically, but this is the number of times I get people who reach out to me and want to pay me to, you know, react to a video, you know, who want to pay me to interview them, who want to pay me to, you know, do certain things, right? And, you know, I have always maintained the same position throughout my entire career. If I rock with what you're doing, then I'm down to do some sort of, you know, marketing or promotion. We can come up with a package. It's part of media, right? I've always, for me personally, drawn the line with things that I don't rock with. Like, I'm not going to take a bag for things that I don't like. So those are the emails that generally don't get any response if I check out the music or whatever it is. But it is part of the game. But it does hit the audience in a different kind of way. Like for Elle, BK, Elle and Glasses, you guys look at things differently when you find out. I mean, especially y'all know the business. Like y'all know how this whole thing works. Like, how do you even, what's your reaction to all of this?
I never trusted anything Akademiks said. And I don't think it's me. I don't think I'm in the crowd that is altered by this. I think when you say Does it affect the crowd? Does it affect his constituents, we could say? And no, I don't think so. I think the people who like Akademiks are the people who feel somewhat like outcasts from the industry, and they like to see somebody who is perceived as an underdog because he is perceived as an outcast. He is perceived as not cool. He's perceived as not in the in crowd. They like to see him bomb on the people who are supposed to be cool. What I thought was most interesting about that is I think Akademiks has a long history of talking down on so-called gangster shit, so-called street shit, like everybody is fake. But as soon as somebody slapped the shit out of him, it was so hilarious how he put on that. He all of a sudden it's like, I want to fight too. And it's like, oh, maybe if you would have lived a life where you had to have immediate consequences, you would have a little more understanding about why certain people operate a certain way. But once again, the beauty of hands reorients a person's understanding of the world. So I found that to be very hilarious. I think he's been a main person talking about like how so-called street people are almost like immature and fake. It's like he's always trying to be like, oh, they some fake ass niggas. They don't know what they're doing. This is not real. This is not real. And it's like, actually, you not real. And look, that's funny. Now you want to engage in violence because you feel disrespected in that way. So I just found it to be hilarious. It was like a live lesson playing out. It was riveting.
1 second applause. What do you think, G?
I mean, so here's 3 takeaways. First, why the fuck are you letting Akademiks bully you? Why would you be paying Akademiks anything? So I hope that's a lie. But for some reason, I just got a feeling it's not a lie. But the fact Akademiks is bullying you to where you're paying him to not say anything bad about your album is fucking insane. Like I don't know what the fuck is going on, but you know, whatever. 2, to Elle's point, it's like, look, brother, y'all either gonna be. So there's a part of me proud of Akademiks, right? Because you finally want to deal with things as a man. You like, you know what, you motherfucker, put your hand on me, nigga. Let's get out, nigga. I'll knock you out. I'm like, okay, you know what? Consequence. Okay, cool. Then there's this weird space where you're a civilian. I'm like, well, why you didn't inform the proper authorities that you were assaulted? Why not stay on brand? Like the one place you don't want to be in this life is a no man's land. You know, that small middle where you're like, well, I might be kind of street, but then I'm actually a civilian. That no man's land is no good. You got to get out of there. So I can respect that you want to fight Baby. And it sounds like he really wants to fight Baby. Like he's real. I mean, not even a boxing ring. I'm like, the fact that they're talking about organizing a boxing ring, like it's crazy. I'm like, bro, how you ain't told this man, let's get down now? I wouldn't even wait it for the boxing date. I'm like, no, we could just meet up. I'll just come where you at. We be me and you. We could fight. 3, why the fuck would Baby be talking to Aiden Ross?
Thank you. I mean, he was having dinner with the Tate brothers.
Who was?
Over the holidays. So
who was?
Lil Baby.
What the fuck is going on in Atlanta?
I think he just be with that crowd, and they didn't let
What
Aiden get way too.
What the fuck is going on in Atlanta?
Yeah.
The fuck is happening? The fuck is happening? What the fuck is going on?
I think it's a rebellious, anti-woke idea. Oh, you guys are tripping. They just be playing around. This is the new trolling. Aiden Ross and Andrew Tate, they hella funny. Yeah, they be kind of racist. They just don't give a fuck. And all of the kids love them. All the kids don't love them. It's a certain section of people, young folks and older folks, that love that. And if that's the crowd you want to feed, then I wish you all of the consequences that go along with it.
Oh. I guess it's just like, you know, look, if you want to fight, I mean, the way he called him Baby name, I don't know if it should be waiting for no boxing ring. And I can respect it. He like, look, I want to get down. I just wish
you want to fight for real.
I hope. So the thing that you accomplish with hands is you start to understand the power of everything. All I'm gonna tell Scru is get the hands ready because he might be looking at you next. The way he talking about Lil Baby, he must gonna beat the shit out of Lil Baby, so he might be on you next. You got to make sure you make our side of the world look good because they ain't doing none of that. Just in case, because he might win. He'd be like, you know what? All of y'all line it up. All y'all that been talking shit, Big Act is on squabbles.
Nah, the one time I tried to have some situation, he blocked me. So,
Okay, cool. Okay, hold it down, my boy.
What's the applause?
Back in the house. What I'm saying is, it just. Why are you paying him? Why is he bullying you? Right? Please, God, let that be a lie.
I mean, oh, my bad.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say all these rappers, like a lot of these rappers mess with those streamers. A lot of them go because they feel like they need them to get like that kid audience or like the younger audience, or like they just.
I get why they utilize him, but you're gonna pay him to not say nothing bad about. That's a bully.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's initially the whole reason they're hanging out with them, is so they will say something positive. So if they're saying something negative, there's no point. So I can see them trying to pay. It's stupid. And you are right. You're allowing these people, you gave these academics, Aiden Ross's, Drake is streaming with XQC, and XQC didn't even know about Scorpion. So it's like it's not because they're all using each other, but in that process, they've given these people so much power that the streamers are now more powerful than the artists. So you'll find yourself getting bullied, or looking like you're getting like paying so they'll say something nice about you because you see them as so powerful.
Yeah.
I can understand.
I think, hold on, let me do this real quick. I think that's what I think annoys me the most about people who are so big on down talking so-called street dudes, even though there is some problems, there is some criminality, there is some immoral activity. I don't want to act like I'm blind to that, but I think what annoys me about that is I don't think you're really standing on a moral basis about what is wrong. I think you wish that you could take the place of something gangster, and I feel like you don't recognize the gangsterism in corporations. You don't recognize the gangsterism in the United States of America. You don't see that. You just want to hyper focus on niggas and what they do. Okay. And when you get an opportunity, look at the criminality you did. Because if you think about it, what he said, it's extortion. I'm going to defame your brand unless you pay me thousands of dollars.
When the fuck did that become Suge? Like, okay, look, Screw, it's one thing to pay Justin for you to say something positive about me. Right, that's different, right, man? Jay, say, put it on for me, man. Hey, man, here, say my album's classic. I get it. You asking for
that's marketing,
right? I'm going to pay you so you don't say nothing negative about me. Who the fuck? What the fuck is the levels of hell that I would raise? I mean, the levels of hell I will legit bring to Hawkins, that I would bring to Hawkins. The levels
like
of hell.
I don't know. It's kind of like them trying to make the streamers the gatekeepers or something. It's like some weird, like you're saying, the upside down, or like it's some weird where it's like y'all have the clout, and like these streamers are making all types of money and they have all these eyeballs, but it's just like what are we trading for that? I guess for access or what? Like
I need to kidnap. I did not know how the fuck are you getting shook down by.
And I wonder how does that work?
Well, I mean, I
think them and say, pay me this much.
I think if you look at the broader environment, we all understand how difficult it is to get eyes or attention on anything, right? And if you have a product, regardless of anybody's opinion on him, he has a lot of eyes on multiple verticals.
Why you pay Act to be on the stream? I get why somebody pays you for you to talk about them. I'm not giving you nothing to not talk about me. If you talk about me, I'm gonna come see you. If you talk about me, I'm gonna get somebody fucked up. I'm not paying you to not talk bad about me. That's shaking me down. Me paying you to cover my content, Justin, I will pay you to do it. I have. Hey, Justin, I want you to do something for my channel I'm not paying you shit for you not to talk shit to me. Are you fucking crazy? I'm finna see you. Hell, I'm not giving you. And then he doubled down on it. That 30,000 ain't nothing. It's 300,000.
Price went up.
And it would have exploded. Like the levels of hell, cuz I would have raised. Oh my fucking God.
Like he's saying you virtually got to check in.
A nigga would be like, up with that? I'm not going to say nothing. You better give me some money to not talk.
But I think a lot of this stuff started from things like letting academics slide with the War on ChiRaq channel.
I agree.
It's almost to a point where we can obviously blame academics because he's the one that does it. And if you know me, you know that this is me. It's even crazy for me to say that, but it's like we kind of set the table for this.
I agree.
There have been so many times where I've been like, wait, so why do people still talk positively about academics? Like, he's got weird cases. He's on camera putting his hands on a girl. There's literally things where I go like just like you said, where I go like, I don't understand why no, like as a whole collective. And it seems like sometimes academics will do something egregiously bad. Then a certain amount of time will leave. Everybody will be mad. A certain amount of time will go. And then people will start like engaging with him again and start going with it. And then like if he breaks something, you act like he didn't just do some weird stuff or lose his Twitch for what he lost his Twitch for. It's just like he almost has more protection than even like a Drake. And I've said that because I always go like, could you imagine if Drake lost a platform for the same thing academics lost Twitch? It might literally be over for him. Like it might literally be over for his career. But I think with him getting away with so much stuff. I was talking to Justin earlier about the War on ChiRaq channel. The fact that he apologized for it, but kept it up and he just lied to people, act like it wasn't monetized. There's definitely ads on it. And you can still go back and revisit some of this stuff. Like I always looked at it weird when Dirk did the interview with Akademiks, because when I went back and listened to the Akademiks video where he was talking about Dirk's cousins dying, I go, how can you forgive this, but you can't forgive some of the other people who said less than this? So I feel like people have made it where Akademiks they made him needed. They made him like a thing where now it's like, you didn't nip it at the bud, so now it's out of control and there's really nothing you can do.
We're not his target market. We're not the ones who can nip it in the bud. It's
the
outside that.
But I'm saying when it was like the War on ChiRaq, it was easier that everybody could have done it. When it was everyday struggle, it was a little bit easier. Now it's gotten to the point where he's gotten into like the Trump sphere, the red pill, the right wing. So it is out. But I was saying like the problem why it got to this is because when in 2012 or wherever, when he made those things, I don't think people were mad enough. I don't think people are mad enough at some of the things he did, and he kind of is just out of here now with that stuff. That's
final point, Glass. We're gonna close this conversation. Final point.
It's the burden of culture, how heavy it is. He doesn't have it. See, that's what changes all of this stuff. This is what hip hop is all about. It's the fact that's why that's why we're so fucking mad. Somebody that's not with us, we're not mad. The reason Drake burden got heavier, the reason his success is not affected, but it feels like the weight of the world is on his shoulder, is because he tried to play like he was one of us. He tried to play like he was of the culture. See, Act was always smart. He never did. He always separated himself. He always was like, I'm not like them. No, them niggas got. And remember, I told y'all at that time, you could cover content and not be anywhere in the vicinity. See, Justin came into hip hop where you had to see a nigga. If you said something about him, he was going to see you. So pre-2010, pre the blog era, Scru, niggas saw you. So if you said something fucked up in that review where you got at somebody personally, you was gonna get fucking dealt with. The blog era created an environment where people did not have to see you. So somebody could report on it from Jersey, way in Chicago. He could say anything. And then at that point, it's a bunch of other people who feel like they can relate. That was their door. But the reason you feel like nothing is happening is because nothing's expected. Because he is not this. It's different to be one of us. Now, if Glasses do some shit like that, it's the end of my fucking world. Because again, it's a cultural thing. Mainstream America don't give two fucks about this shit. They don't give a fuck. The fucking president. The hell? It's the president, Screw. Like regular mainstream people don't have no fucking morals. They don't. And it's crazy because you would think the streets is the one that's fucked up, Justin. You'd be like, well, it's the street. No. Look at the president. The president. The fucking president. It's the president. Yes, because there's no burden on him. We all know it. So again, here is one of them things again. I'm going to say this last thing, Justin. I'm going to let you do your thing. No man's land. Inform the proper authorities. Because that's what you built. If you start playing around here, you're gonna get caught with your feet in the fucking water, man. This is where you get drowned. See, remember, it was different all them other times. It's easy to do the War on ChiRaq. You did it for years. Niggas forgot. Dirk blew up. Dirk got a bunch of money. He's like, well, he don't remember shit. Nigga was doing drugs 1,000 things. He not paying attention. When Vic caught him up there, Vic should have slapped him. Nobody. So now it's not he's this animal that's out of control, because it's not. He's just breaking news. He's not this animal that sways the world. You don't have that type of impression on people. But what he has is it's a platform. And here he is again, Justin in no man's land. No man's land. You don't play the middle. He's playing the middle. And this is one thing he's never did this whole time. But because the game, Scru, is coming back to the real nigga era, that old blog ass, punk ass, pussy ass shit the niggas been doing for years is done. Now he's like, okay, I gotta move into a space. I gotta demand some respect. But you can't play the middle. And like right now, here you are playing the middle. You talking about putting hands on a motherfucker? You talking about whooping somebody at you? I mean, he sound like Hulk Hogan making fucking wrestling commercials. Like promo. Look, brother, when I come to fucking Atlanta, I'm gonna fucking run amok all over you. That's how he's talking. No man's land. You better know what you doing right here. On this side, this shit crazy. All the shit I'm saying, I'm finna pop up on niggas and they know it. That's why they like, man, you know what? I'm G. No, you know it. It's like, expect me like the Lord, nigga. I'm coming. It's just what I am because I get it. But I also ain't finna call the police if something go wrong. That middle ground, Justin, is where it gets you fucked up. So you got to be really careful.
I mean, I 1 second applause to that. Man, to that point about having to be outside back in the day, I remember I covered an independent artist and I wrote a review on my own blog. And I thought it was complimentary. I said, yo, the group is dope. You know what I'm saying? They just got too many big poos and not enough Fontes. You know what I'm saying? And I saw them out at Southpaw a week later. And let's just say like a venue can get really small while standing in the middle. I'll say that. You know what I'm saying? And so I learned that day to be very careful because I thought that was pretty light. But to them, that was everything. And this is a business where you're dealing with people's dreams.
Yeah.
People will do whatever it takes to get to wherever they want to go. So you don't play with people like that. And that's why I don't play with anybody in this space. You know what I'm saying? So
dog, you always have been that one. He's taking him down, Justin. And he told him, that little 30,000 y'all give me ain't nothing. You need to be 300. When the fuck did that turn to Suge Knight? What type of nigga do you gotta be for act to turn to Suge Knight on you? What you gonna do, brother? Maniac coming
to that timeline. But Justin, I think that's dope that you were outside during that time. I think that's why you're able to put together such wonderful productions because you understand how to do it professionally. And I think that you're really going to benefit from this new time because I feel it in my bones. We going back to the 90s.
I think so too. I think we all are. You know what I'm saying? I think, and particularly with this platform that, you know, we all come together every week and do. You know what I mean? Like, you know, to the audience who doesn't realize how this goes, like me and Elle sit here and plan, talk about ideas over the course of the week. And then and BK and I do too. You know what I mean? So we're trying to figure out the best way to do this. I really like the chemistry and the balance that's here. And so there's a couple of things on the side I do want to, I will be sharing in the future, but this is more than just me at this point. And with Scru, with Glasses, with a whole, there has been 38 different people on this platform at this point in time. If you look over the course of the year, it's been 38 different, that's that the level of support, the level of people who have given time, given hours to sit down and have conversations, you know, I think is a testament to how aligned so many of us are with what we want to see in the space and what we want to see in this world. And I always want this to be a platform.
It's like
can we get a tee that says Culture United and it got all 38 people faces on it like that?
Yeah.
That old
Where's the soccer jersey?
We have a shirt that's being designed. It's a soccer jersey. It's a Culture United soccer jersey.
I'm geek for that.
Yeah,
that's my shit.
That's covered.
And I didn't say that, Justin, to try to bring that up. I was just saying, I was trying to say, I hope you have a level of pride in the fact that you come from that era, because I know that we're going through a circle, and all of us that know about that era, we're about to be so well equipped for this next part, and it's just so exciting.
Nah,
Because
you're
we
right
had
about
to
that.
go through the fake nigga era, and it
Word
hurt
up.
us.
Hey, look, I personally feel like we came out unscathed. You know, maybe
I'm
what is
alive.
it? Was it a head
Really?
bloody but unbowed? I guess that's how it goes. Shout out to Invictus. You know what I mean? But sincerely, big thank you to everyone that's on this panel. I want to give each of you an opportunity to shout out what you got going on, let people know where they can find you. Open floor, whoever wants to start.
I guess I'll Scru Face on channel, Scru Face on SCRU space FACEJEAN. Check me out, music, all that, everything Scru Face on.
Word up. Now, second applause.
I don't know what I want to shout out this week, but I love it here every week. You can find me on all social media platforms. Elle Janelle. It's the same thing as my Cash App right here. I'm on everything. I think I want to shout out the 1st and 15th Discord. I'm going to put a link to it on my channels. We're trying to do new events like ciphers every week and different discussions and things like that. And so I want all of the real hip hop heads, all of the people who love this type of convo to join the 1st and 15th Discord. You can find it on my social media platforms.
9-second applause.
Oh, well, it was a pleasure, as always, chatting with you guys tonight. This is just coming from like a couple years ago to just watching a lot of y'all's content to sharing the virtual space has been so freaking cool. But yeah, you can find me at Look at the Material Pod on YouTube. You can find me on TikTok. I'm not gonna be on TikTok anymore. I need to figure that out. But IG and Twitter, LATM Pod. And you can find some reactions on BK and Mogo. We're doing a lot of reactions, you know, between Pink Panthers and ASAP and Doechii and everybody in between. Everybody can get a reaction. So definitely stay tuned, and I look forward to this every week. So I appreciate y'all.
$30,000 for a reaction with Elle and BK and Mogo. $30,000 so you go get
Pay
swung on
up.
9-second applause.
No Ceilings, the podcast, Apple Music, iHeart Music. Shout out to Charlamagne the God for executive producing the pod. The stream is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 12 p.m. Y'all already know where to find me. If you hear new music, late May, June, everything, man, it's going up. I ain't taking it easy on these suckers. We're going to whip the culture right back into shape.
Yo, I got to say this one thing. Glasses Malone said something to me. Got to be 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago now. And he was talking about his vision for where he wanted to take his career and the impact he wanted to have. And he made a statement. And he was like, Jay, I'm going to bend the culture to my will. I'm going to get to the point where the words I say bend the culture to my will. And I looked at the impact he had at the beginning of this year and the way that he literally moved a culture to understand the responsibility we had to not let people like Aiden Ross talk to us and talk to our women that way. And it's amazing to see him actualize this. And I know that this ain't even a drip in the bucket. My brother Glass Malone, I can't think about my life without you, man. 9-second applause.
I'm so proud of all y'all, man. I'm really proud of all y'all. Scru, real fast, Scru from that little show, man, out there in your hometown, bro. Justin from meeting you at Hip Hop DX, BK from meeting you at this platform. You're one of my favorite. Elle, you already know I think the world of you. You know what I'm saying? I'm the same. It's mutual, man. I'm glad to be here with y'all.
Word up, word up. It's all happening.
Crazy. I met Glasses 13 years ago. I had to check when we did that song. That was 13 years ago. Before anybody, that's before I met Kendrick. Really, I met Glasses before I met Kendrick. So shout out to you. I always appreciate you for that because nobody knew who I was. I was just some kid in Nebraska. And you came all the way down there and you did a song with me. So I appreciate that forever.
You have represented my homie to the fullest, bro. And that shit mean the world to me, dog. You know, he's a good dude. You know better than most, man. So
I appreciate that.
Only thing that matter.
Word up. I've got about 15 minutes to go through super chats. Anybody who wants to hang and respond to some of these super chats, you're more than welcome. BK, you got one right up here up front. This one came from Andy Pandy. BK, why do you think YB hasn't responded to NLE Chopper?
We need to just be thanking God that he didn't. Okay? Because Chopper literally created a replica of his head severed off. And so let's just be grateful that that was dead in the water when it was. That's all I'll say.
Word up. 1 second applause. We got this one here from Doomer. Says Cole must unite the unibrow to regain his powers. You got to do something. Something got to happen. 1 second applause. We got this one here. Piece from Gardena. It's all happening. Represent. 1 second.
Gardena.
Let's see what we got. This one from Jonathan Andrade. Agree with G. Lots of empty calories with Cole, but folks eat up cringy ass Laurie Harvey bars. Yeah, that's that. I mean, that was actually really interesting to hear that point being made, because you're right. There wasn't that many names dropped on this album, and surprisingly, she made it on there. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
another thing that bothered me, where I go like, all right, okay. If it's No Name, Diggy, or Laurie Harvey, then he's ready to kill.
Right. 1 second applause.
Not funny.
This one is from Blink Once 29. K-Dot is the only one who he said he was, like OG Glasses said, fraudulent. I think they're talking about Cole in that case. But 1 second applause. Thank you for that one. I like this one. I put this up earlier. Shout out to Gil and company. Cole won't stop letting Nas down. Cole won't stop letting Nas down. I mean, I'm so with you on that point, Screw, by the way, because I'm running into that in my comment section. People are acting like I've told Cole what to rap about. I didn't tell Cole to rap about these things.
Exactly.
I didn't tell Cole to make these illusions that have people thinking this way. I know enough about the space to understand all the benefits to making people think something that might not be true when it's time to push a product. I'm not saying he's doing that. I'm just saying there's a bunch of reasons why these things might be in there. I don't think that Cole is an incompetent person. He is a communications major who's an elite MC. I don't think there's that much gray area on these things. I feel like a lot of that it comes from someplace, but it's in the bars and we're just reacting to them. I don't know what people expect.
Basically, what the stands are, or like the biggest fans want you to do is have the opinion I want to have. They're not saying don't have an opinion. Have the opinion I want you to have about it. And that's basically what they're saying. Because if not, then shut up. It's like the shut up and dribble thing, where it's
Shut
like,
up and dribble. Yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Tomato.
All right. Next one up, we got Corey says he called TPAB boring and then quote Kendrick with the Jid Killer Mike should be platinum, a line off the very same album. You know what I mean? That's that.
I also
that's
wanted
slick
to know
stuff.
what y'all thought about that, like the Jid bar, like where he was just like, y'all saying that hip hop is back, but if so, Jid would be platinum. But it's kind of like, it's interesting that he says that now when it's like so many, like if we're talking about just like that traditional industry standard of like success, we have like hella rap albums nominated for Grammys. Like, Clips came back after, like, I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, Jid wasn't platinum, who just so happens to be your artist, but like, isn't hip hop, like real hip hop, called certified hip hop, getting its fanfare right now? Like on the main stage?
I think so too.
Yeah. And I wonder
it's
who's
interesting
talking about, because I don't think it's a big crowd saying bring hip hop back. I think we're a small, powerful crowd that's growing. So I was wondering who he was talking about with that line. Like, who are you talking to?
Me too, because I was like, wait, are you talking to the cloth people that are saying it's back? Like, I don't know.
I found that.
Can I ask y'all one question? Did y'all know Nicki Minaj receives Donald Trump's gold card granting U.S. residency?
Yeah.
I'll be the first to be like, I'm not as mad. I'm mad, but I'm not as mad. I'm not gonna lie. I know that's fucked up. Forgive me. But Jesus Christ. Like, fuck. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I would say not as mad, but I have to be honest. I did recognize certain people who benefited, like when Lil Wayne was trying to get the pardon, and who else was it? Who else got a pardon? Kodak got a pardon.
Yeah.
I did kind of look at that like, okay, you're transactionally.
Sure. And I guess it was like, because I'm like, why are you up here telling this man all this crazy shit? And then it was like, oh, really? You Yo, because I didn't know if her citizenship was in jeopardy. And I know I shouldn't be, I still should just be at level 7, but I'm probably at level 4 upset. Like,
I went from 7 to 6. And my limit of upset is 2.
shit, Justin. Shit.
I went from 7 to 8.
Me too. I was about
These-
to, I was
You went up when you
Yeah,
thought-
these cards were for sale.
Yeah,
He
that was a
announced
million
in
dollars.
the beginning. He said you could pay $6 million or whatever, you can get one.
They ain't had $6 million, man.
You have it.
Dog,
Okay.
You mean to tell me? You mean to look? I understand it.
the
You
meme.
see
I
what's happening
personally,
in that house.
I
You see what's happening in that house. You see what's going on in LA.
I personally feel like she is, probably
Teetering.
burned a lot of bridges in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Right.
The
But-
memes don't justify the memes.
But with someone with that audience and the loyalty behind it, she couldn't do a fan service, something. She couldn't do pay what you want and see how close she gets. She couldn't try to utilize the power of the barbs to
Which is a
find
lot
a
of power.
cool way to do it. You know what I'm saying? No, she said she has to drag everybody. She has to destroy her reputation. She has to tax significant portions of her fan base to figure this out. I get
Just to
it,
be
but
a
I'm just
legal
saying.
citizen.
But I'm
Damn.
just saying, I went from 7 to 8. You know what I'm saying? I was like,
Oh, you
God.
went up.
I went
I
up.
went up.
She said she was not backing down and that we need to stop bullying him, talking about Trump and holding his rotten, decrepit hand. That was I'm with you, Justin. I'm just like, man, all for this
God.
dumb ass.
This shit look like it come out of a
card.
Cracker Jack box.
Yeah, no.
It's
I'm with 7 to
fucking
8.
great, bro.
Yeah.
Hip hop could not be more fucking awesome.
One second applause. And also,
Tomato.
because
Tomato, yeah.
that's just really
But
terrible.
like I said, I went down 1, but my limit is 2. Anything
Mm.
past 2 level sellout, I'm through with you. So she went from
Oh
7.
no, she definitely at that. But I'm just saying, I went from a 7 to 4. I'm like, oh shit.
Like I see what you're doing. Sir.
Oh, no.
I'm thinking you just selling all the way out. Oh, you
You know how
actually
many-
had
you know
the
how many
point to sell
bridges-
it out.
That always amazes. That's something that always amazes me though. Like you have people who have massive audiences who have the ability to raise whatever, have relationships that are all across the board, but because they're such terrible people, when you have something so significant like your citizenship on the line, you got to go to the worst places in the world to find a way to get through. I don't know, whatever. Let's get back to these super
How much
chats.
was it called?
We also don't know. We also don't know because those are gangsters. Those are mobsters. We don't know if they was like, look, you gonna do it or you gonna.
We ain't making no
That's-
excuses.
That's true.
We're not
That's
making
true.
no
Hey,
excuses.
You
I ain't
always
saying
gotta
no.
make
Ain't
excuses
nothing.
when I say you
excuses.
don't know.
Hey, we don't know.
I don't
We
forget,
know. We'll see what it is. Right.
Talking about the mob.
CamxSoulaan says the feelings about Cole is so complicated at this point. I hope the fall off is either a great to classic album, which I'm confident it could at least be great. I think it could be great. I think it'd be amazing. Actually, I do think as long as he doesn't do what he did here, I think if he diverses his conversation, everything is fine. You know what I'm saying? Like I personally don't think that Cole is someone who runs out of things to talk about or doesn't realize there's other things to talk about. And I hope that he leans into the fall off with all the stuff that's going on in the world. He said, this is the Boondocks on sometimes I feel like Huey mixed with Riley. Thursday, I'll be trying to save the world. Then on Friday, I hit the club. This is a good time to turn on Huey. Put some Huey on, put the fall off out, put some dope rhymes on it. You'll be straight. It's not that difficult. Don't spend all this time looking backwards. Don't remind us of all the things you could have done. Don't even try to impress us with your word placement and all that kind of stuff at this point. Be a real person with some real perspective and be dope if you really let us inside. It's not that difficult.
Yep. And I think if he does that, then he could reach that, that great to classic, whatever. But again, I'm not at all saying that like good rapping can get tiresome, but it's like, we get it. You can rap. Now what? I think that's his challenge.
Right. Yeah, exactly. We'll see. But shout out to Cam. 1 second applause. All right, let's see what we got here. That was Cam. Chef says, man, fuck all that shit. The tape is fire. 1 second applause. Let's see. Mr. Pro says, J. Cole did a whole lot of loud ass shadow boxing. He called to the ring and said, nah, he can't go back to loud shadow boxing. He said, nah.
Yeah, because I'm like, who are these rappers that you lining up? And it's any nigga. It's any nigga. Why is one nigga off limits? Like, sorry, I don't.
No, here's the crazy part is like I said, I'm a big J. Cole fan, which is why Cole has specifically said, pick the person that you think is my best competition and I will beat him. So that's what I'm like, when this whole like later for this whole like, okay, just forget it. No, you were so specific your whole career about this exact moment. And then it's not even like every rapper talks like this. I get it, but you are extra specific. You were very specific about what you wanted to happen. It happened, and then you were like, I don't want it anymore. And then now you're back like, but if I did, it's like, all right.
Oh, baby, I've been 100 people like that in the hood.
That's funny. That's funny. All right. This one here says, Read My Soul made a point that I personally felt. Cole be rapping, but I don't feel much. I think it's a testament to the shift. Is he missing his window? I think he maximized it. I mean, he's one of the biggest artists in music. He's probably one of the few guys that can drop a surprise tape and do 150, 200,000. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's missing his window, but I think he's squandering a lot of real estate. I can't say that.
That's what I said. I don't feel like it's such a big deal. Like I think people are acting like people critiquing for saying because what is he losing? Like where is he getting hurt? Like what is there like a Drake is going through actual lawsuits and stuff. So it's like what is J. Cole actually losing besides the perception of he being the greatest?
Right. Right.
Which means everything to him, seemingly. He's still fighting for that, even though he doesn't care and doesn't want it, and he's above it, but he still wants it.
Yeah.
The whole project felt like he was giving himself a pep talk. You know, I don't think it even needed 4 songs. 2 of those were the same song. The first 2 were the same song. The third song, he gets motivational. The 4th song, he wraps it all up and reminds you how he still got some time for Joey Badass. The first 2 are the same song. And that was a song he didn't want to make 2 years ago when everybody wanted to hear it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because you know what's crazy is had he just dropped these songs and put like Kendrick's name in it, this could have just been he's basically dropped this tracks. I didn't even think of that.
That's what it is. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to get it off. Shout out to Zone Fanfic. He says, the fight was always against both European and American colonialism. The real gangsters, a fight we've forgotten due to uneducated punks like Kanye and Cole have unquestionably endorsed and allowed capitalism to backdoor us.
I would take Cole out of that.
Yeah,
I would take Cole out of that. It's a bunch of people who could take Cole's space in that. I don't think he's in the big 3 of that at all.
I think so too. Yeah.
But you're right, Zone Fanfic, with the rest of the stuff you said. I don't know why Cole.
1 second applause.
Nice watch. I don't know. Fuck that. Oh, this was a joke. Ikari Kings.
2026 is the year of change and choosing a side. The insta-fake era is over. Which side are you on? Stand for something. # more Fonte Colemans. I'm with that. 1 second applause. I feel you on that one. That's the truth. I feel you. I feel you, brother. Trust me, I feel. What's that? No, I feel you, nigga. Trust me. I feel. That's Tupac. That's right. That's where it came from. Only God can judge me. Sometimes I'm talking to myself, but I feel better at the end of it. Shout out to Big Biz Grizz says, I'm convinced Ak is paid by the CIA and has been for quite some time to be an agent of chaos within the Black community, but that's just my opinion. I mean,
some niggas just be agents of chaos, though. I just don't want to give him that much credit. Like he's just not sophisticated. I don't know. I just feel like I feel like he genuinely has a lot of these opinions. He's a big Trump guy too. But then don't ask him anything about gay people. I mean, he's a really bigoted individual. So I would just, and there's a lot of that. Well, I'm Jamaican American and you're Black, and so like there's a lot of that separation that he's been that already exists without the CIA having to like give him money for that. So
he just shouted out Nick Fuentes, so it's like, what are we talking about here?
I think the CIA is behind some of the misinformation that convinced Ak that he was important in that way. So I don't think he is the CIA, but he may be a product of CIA, three-letter organization misinformation or propaganda. I don't think it's him though. He don't got no check and he ain't got no handler.
Lil, shout out to Lil. 1 second applause. Lil says, Ye gonna perform in Mexico and the president is Jewish. I'm sure that has something to do with it.
Okay, see, that makes sense. You know how I was asking who the apology is for? Because I'm like, girl, we already, that actually kind of makes sense. And she's really, really popular, Claudia Scheinbaum. So
Yeah.
maybe so.
Shout out to Claudia. 1 second pause. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. This one is from the Buzz 408 DTK. Don't trust Kanye is what I say to anything Kanye says or does. At this point, we should all know how he moves. Pretty fair to me. It's pretty fair to me. I mean,
or at least showed in his actions instead of his words.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Elle, you hit the nail on the head with what I was thinking. I was like, yeah. Ye's whole point was all the destruction that other communities will accept when it comes to the Black community, and was completely blind, stiff-arming, and justifying some of the worst anti-Blackness I think I've ever seen from anyone with a microphone ever for years.
Yep. And you use your super big platform that, if we're being honest, we gave you. We loved you. We said, yes, they're bullying you for your 2 polos and the pink, and we're going to big you up. And we built you up really big just for you to get up there and say, you know what? By the way, fuck y'all. Couldn't wait to get away from y'all in the first place.
And White Lives Matter. Remember that? Like the whole him and Candace. I mean, there's just so many. It's like, bro, you threw us under the bus, bro, and then you backed that bitch up, and then you ran us over again. Like,
and don't let me get into the details of who you chose to build a family with and how it had to be her, because man, look.
Okay, well, shout out to Just Gwen. She's got a really cool comment here. She says, Cole was a military brat. Oh, wait. I think I did this one already. Well, shout out to Just Gwen again. 1 second. Okay, so let's see what this one says. Drake went out bad suing, but to say dude who had the most battles in his era and never ducked a battle ain't hip-hop is crazy. I mean, I see where you're coming from. I think, you know, we covered this topic, I think. You know, hip-hop is more than just what's happening in one genre. You know, I think, look, man, fuck that. That nigga out here suing, you know what I'm saying? This motherfucker out here, other people writing this rap, he's suing, he lost his battle, he go home, nah, I can't give it to him. But shout out to you, man. That's what's up. 1 second applause. That shit too much. I've read all of those documents. I've read all those legal filings. Okay, the stuff they tried to put in, they tried to say Not Like Us was anti-Semitic. They tried to say that WAP was a death threat. They tried to say that when he said, you better never go to Cell Block 1, that he was trying to get Drake to go to Cell Block 1 to be assaulted. I'm like, okay, nah, you know, sorry. Yeah, we'll take that off the screen now. I think we answered that question. Mr. Too Opinionated says, if not lying or not being hyperbolic in your raps is how we measure hip hop, then Chicago drill is the realest, really drilling and dying.
Huh?
Okay. You can be honest about something besides the people you kill. And I think that might answer.
Thank you. Or the drugs you do or sold.
Yeah, like there's a lot more honesty in street urban culture, unique ideas, stories to tell, philosophical ideas to comb through than, hey, I'll be there at 7 and record me being there at 7.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And to comment too much, but yeah, I agree with everything you just said.
Yeah, 1 second plus. Shout out to Chauffeur. Chauffeur says, where's the Culture United merch, Justin? It's on the way. I gotta ask my merch person. It's on the way though. It's a soccer jersey. It's gonna be fire. It's gonna be fire. It's gonna be fire. Shout out to you, Chauffeur. 1 second plus. Let's see what we got here. This one says, the criticism of Cole are fair. It's just baffling to me how he's catching more heat than the person claiming to be GOAT for 15 years while having ghostwriters in the lawsuit attacking hip hop. I'm not sure if we did that one or not.
He is not
receiving more heat than Drake. Go
ahead.
He's not. People being so hyperbolic because people don't like that he apologized. This is so crazy. It's like, no, he's not getting anywhere. Have you been on planet Earth the last 2 years? No, nobody is getting more slander than Drake. So it's like
BBL Drizzy?
Yeah, like nobody went to the Grammys.
Shout out to Melone.
SNL skits, Grammy. Like, no, bro. Come on. He's just getting some negative reactions. It's okay.
People just think Cole is above reproach because he is a technical rapper. Like, it's easy to shit on Drake because of the ghostwriting and all that stuff and the lawsuits and stuff. But it's like people feel like because Cole is like that backpacker and because he pays homage and because he does all that, then you should just bypass one of the biggest earmarks on his career. Like, nah,
Yeah,
it's okay. He's gonna be fine.
Yeah. 1 second plus. J1100 says, in my opinion, Drake and Cole are the exact same person. Only difference, if Drake was more culturally rooted in blackness, he'd be J. Cole. Or even if he was just American. You know, I think that has a huge part of it. You know, and not to, one thing I really do agree with Glasses on when it comes to Drake is that, you know, being raised in Canada and by his mom adds a lot of distance from the experience that he would have had if he spent more time and grew up in Memphis with his dad. And I say would have had based on how he talks about his relationship with his dad growing up in music. Boohoo, sad story, Black American dad story, right? The fact that he called it Black American dad story to me is a gap. If he was in America, he wouldn't have said Black American dad story, right? And so that to me is the difference between Cole and Drake. You know, I think a lot of it is the international aspect that connects, that adds to the distance between some of the cultural reflexes that he clearly doesn't have, because he said, you're trying to rap like you're trying to get the slaves free.
Like, what would make you say that? Like, what the hell?
And like whipped and chained you like American slave in that song, slimed you out.
Crazy.
Like you what? Who invokes that that imagery? Like,
oh my God, yeah, I'll be forgetting some of the stuff.
I gotta head out, but I really enjoyed this episode. I will see you guys later.
Word up. Thank you so much, Elle. 9-second applause to you.
And just on that note, too, I got to put my little mans to bed before the next 30 minutes here, so I got to bop out, too.
Word up. Word up. Peace out. 9-second
It's
applause.
good talking to you guys, though.
Likewise, bro. Thank you for coming through.
hip-hop is a sport.
Hip-hop is a sport. That's what's up. All right, I think I actually did go over time. I got 4 minutes left, and then I have to step out. So let's see what we can get through right here. Let's see what we got. This one says, Reese Bones, rappers been lying in their raps, i.e. Wayne. The clips told us this years ago, but he rapped his ass off so nobody cared. Hashtag Norfolk. Represent. I used to live in Chesapeake. 1 second applause, 7 cities.
Nice.
I think you agree with that. I agree with that too.
Yeah,
rappers
that's fair.
Lying. And I'm not mad at rappers lying, by the way. It
No,
just
like,
depends.
it happens. It's just it is what you're lying about. And then like at some point, if someone wants to step to you about that lie, you gotta face the music on that.
Right.
And especially on such a big stage like Cole had. Like,
yeah.
It's so obvious. I'm sorry. Like
it gets me, it gets my heart, my blood pressure up too. Like in my mind, because like, you get so in it, you're so into all of this, you're so into these artists, you're so into the culture, you're so into the storyline, the narrative, the music, the bars, and you're like, no, don't get on that stage, don't do it.
No, could you? I just imagine.
Don't delete it later.
Your kids about, when we were taught, it's like, oh my God, you had to be there between Jay and Nas.
Right.
When we're telling the story, it's gonna be like, oh my God, and where did Cole go? And we're gonna have to tell them what happened. Like,
right.
And people are trying to convince us to say he didn't actually want it.
Right. Right.
No, I don't buy that.
He understood that was between them. Let's just get back to letting them be all the things that we like about him. I guess, we'll see. This one here is to Leonard, from Leonard Thomas. And he's replying to Kodog. He says, to Kodog's comment, it is fine to hold Drake to the credit of performing in a battle rap, win or lose or draw. But now it ends there. We're not supposed to take this aggressive music of the soul to court. I agree with that. He's supposed to do that. He definitely can't be out here taking nobody to court. That's crazy to me. 1 second applause. All right. And this one says, J. Cole's favorite rapper was Cannabis. He stepped into a battle rap, and we know how that turned out to be. Notebook Shawty, a disaster. So that comes from DC TV 93. 1 second applause.
Damn.
That's hilarious.
Cannabis.
Oh my God. Did you see that battle between Cannabis and Disaster?
I heard about it through FDs talking about Cannabis.
Oh,
I believe that was in that video.
Yeah, it was. It was in that video. He showed up. He put out a note.
Tomato.
Crazy. And let's see what we got here. And this one is from K-Way for Real. Says, everybody want to be a diamond, but don't want to get cut. Cole had self-inflicted adversity, created a storm, and now want to play victim because he doesn't have an umbrella. As a 3-time NCCA champion and Olympian, that bottom bar made me sick. I see why he quit hoop. Wow. Wow.
I mean, I will say there is not that much sunlight between Cole and Drake. That kind of got brought up a little bit, but in the I'm the underdog and the top dog thing,
Right.
and I actually could be the champ without winning a chip. I just I can't square that circle.
I don't even know why they'd want to. I wouldn't want. One thing I tend to get personally frustrated by when I look at this environment of fan-based wars often is when I'm a fan of something, I do my best to I end up becoming an expert at it because I'm such a fan of it. I'm really into it. You know what I mean? And when I'm really into something, I'm thinking about it from all the angles. I'm thinking about it from all the angles in which I like, and I think about it from angles in which people who might not like it might be thinking from, so I can figure out what to say to convince them to start liking it because I'm a fan and I'm an advocate. And I don't feel like I've run into people in a lot of these fan bases who get to that last step because a lot of times I feel like I have better arguments as to why their favorites are better than they do. Like if I was a Drake fan, or if I was a Dot fan, or if I was a J. Cole fan or a Drake fan, I'd have amazing arguments. And I'm not hearing them. I'm hearing just forget it happened and focus on the bars.
That is, I've never heard someone say like think less about the bars with a bar heavy rapper. And just one little note. The everybody want to be a diamond but don't want to get cut is so key because heavy is the head that wears the crown, and you do have to have ice in your veins. You do honestly have to get to the next level to actually be at the top. Like that stress test, that pressure test, that is what differentiates you. When we're splitting hairs, that's what makes you the greatest or not. And that's why he can never be.
1 second applause. 1 second applause. And let's see, we got one more because I do have to jump now.
Yeah.
Let's see which one is good. Here's one on Ye. Let's see. This is from Erkman the 12th. He says, if he's sincere, the apology is only a start. Progress isn't linear, but if he slips up, he'll need to fix it sooner. While he can't put the genie back in the bottle, he best put his words in action.
I think for all communities involved, hopefully he puts his words into action, right? Like, but I don't know. It's just so much damage has been done, so I don't really care.
Well, I'm sending positive energy. Clearly he is troubled one way or the other. He lost his mom. I lost my mom. I can feel him on that one just off top. You know what I mean? I couldn't imagine having bipolar disorder, and I definitely take him at his word that he's really experiencing some challenges. And so, regardless of whether or not, he's ever meets the standards of the people who once looked up to him or were inspired by him, I still think it's okay there's plenty of room for us to hope that he gets well. You know what I mean?
I agree. And last point, I will say, I hope that people extend as much grace to Megan Thee Stallion as they do to Kanye, because she also lost her mom in the midst of Tory Gate. And I just don't see the same number of people being like, but her mom died, so give her a break. So not to just compare, but it's just, I just have been noticing that when it comes up, I'm just like, okay, well, we got to extend that to everybody. So
that's crazy. I didn't even know that, man. Thank you for telling me that.
Very close to or right before. It was just literally in the midst of that. So, and her grandma too, I think. So it's a lot.
Word up. You got anything you want to say last? Anything you want to say before we sign off?
No, this was fun. Hope to be back soon.
Word up. Culture United every Wednesdays. # See You Wednesdays right back here on the Company Man YouTube channel. You never know who's going to pop up next week. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Thank you for all the positive energy, the kind wishes, and the really incredible comments, man. Y'all be out there cooking in the comment section. We'll be back again next week, of course, because if it's Wednesday, it's Culture United. It's all happening.
See you then.
Culture united, our culture united, our culture united. our culture united, connecting all over the world.